Okay. We are back again live. For more entertainment of the people. Yes, back again. Matt distracted me with a really awful story, and at first I thought of covering it, but then I was like, no, if I'm going to cover this, I need to cover it in like a video essay or something, not a live stream. So we had to go with a different story. Although, I do think that it kind of befits a video essay idea I've had for a while, which involves, like, you know, social media, the 24-hour news cycle, and stuff like that. I think maybe it could be an addendum to it, or could play into it somehow, because the news story I was reading and the Substack that I was reading after that does kind of bring up and invoke the conversation we've been having lately in these streams, and other conversations I've been having in the Discord and stuff about how much social media is playing a part in the inshitification of society. And it's oftentimes the cumulative lesser effects that we focus on, but sometimes it can really mess somebody up. And if it messes up one individual profoundly enough, then that one person can go on to do a lot of damage. So I think it's an interesting thing, one I'll have to do more research on and maybe present something like a cogent argument as to what we should try and do about it. We back indeed, King Bugs. Welcome back. Welcome back to the chat. Let's see if it's gonna rain, because when I was coming in, I saw storm clouds gathering, and I saw lightning kind of striking off. So, ooh, it does say 51% chance. It does say, oh shoot, okay, is it gonna rain? Oh, I hope it rains. I want it to rain so bad. We seem to be keeping later hours than the rest of the misfits. That's true. We do seem to be. Let's see, what does this app say? No, don't give me an ad. Give me the weather. I already have this app. Give me the weather. Give me the radar. Okay. Maybe. Oh my god. Why can it not just come down a little bit north, or a little bit south, I mean? Why can it not just come a little bit freaking south? Why can it not? It needs to come just a little bit south. We're just at the edge of it, man. I mean, not that close to the edge of it, but still. If it came like 200 miles south. Damn it. Welcome back. I'm doing some weather prognosticating, trying to see if I'm going to get any rain. Just do it, bro. I am also tired of this challenge. What do you even talk about? Let's see here. Dude, I just want to know. Like, okay, let's see. I also have Google Weather, and it can tell me. Because it's smart.
Divining the weather, huh?
Yes, I'm divining the weather with modern technology. Oh, we got the international trolls in here, apparently. Nice! What's up, everybody from abroad? Make sure you hit that like and subscribe. Keep things going, you know. It doesn't say it's going to, but let's see here. Oh, it says 20% now, but it doesn't say much. But then it seems like there's more of a chance later in the afternoon. I really hope it rains. I just want it to fucking rain, dude. I just really want it to rain, man. I need it to rain.
Yeah.
Do you understand? I need it to rain.
I live in California, yeah.
Yes, I know you understand. That's why I say, you know, I know you get it. And it's not fucking forecasting any goddamn rain until fucking Tuesday. Ugh. I refuse. I will there to be some rain.
The only thing we have is an excessive heat warning.
Yeah, pretty much us too. The oppressive heat of the South gets to me, Matt.
Yeah.
You know what? At least he's not hurting anyone. Who are you talking about, Capybara? He is hurting my eyes. Who are you talking about, loose eye fur? What? Hey, hon, what are your pronouns? She, her, hers. What is this challenge? I have no idea. I have no idea what challenge you're talking about. Crazy thing? Crazy as shit. This jump scared me. Why is this woke nonsense in my shorts feed? Probably because you interact with trans people on your social media all the time, because you're like deeply attracted to us, or because you secretly like us on some level. Who knows what the reason is, but you've been interacting with this kind of content, and that's why you're being shown it.
Yeah, I think trans people get some horny.
What?
I think trans people get some horny.
Get some horny?
Yeah. Get some randy.
Oh. Oh, you think trans people get them horny? Okay, I was like, what? I thought you were saying, like, we get horny from transphobes or something. And I was like, what the fuck are you talking about?
No. I think it's some repression bullshit.
Ha! What you know about Wicca? Not much. I mostly like the spirit board because I think it's a good background image, but sometimes I'll do little things with it. Just to mess people, you know, and mess with people a little bit. Do you feel good, accomplished? You think you've accomplished what you want? Not yet, but I'm still pretty young. Pretty much just getting started on the portion of my life where I'm starting to achieve the things that I want to achieve. So, not there yet, but I'm also pretty young. Got quite a ways to go. Get that it off my screen. You are the one who is in control of your own experience. I don't have you chained to a radiator in the basement. You could scroll away if you wanted to. You're choosing to watch because you find me fascinating.
Fascination.
Just getting started, shit, no one will... What are you talking about? Sorry, the chat's going by so quick that it didn't even pass through my eyes enough for me to read it. Isn't that great? You're like shit talking, but I didn't even see it. Isn't that wonderful? Bruh, I'm tired of transphobic motherfuckers. I know. Let me clear a few of them out of here. Here, we'll do this. This should limit their presence. Okay? 1, 2, 3. Alright. Okay.
My thing is they look at trans people and they see, oh, that's pretty sexy, and they hate that about themselves.
Exactly, and they can't... They're probably in social environments that don't let them be openly attracted to people, so they have to, like, hide it behind all this bigotry. But they're desperately seeking my attention at, like, all hours of the day. Don't talk to me about attention and validation when, like, you're sitting around as a cis man hating in my live chat, needing all the attention and validation you can get out of a trans girl you claim to not like. Well, let their stupidity show for the most part. Unless they're saying something truly egregious or spamming, we let their idiocy show for the most part. Can you play your guitar? If anybody wants to donate $20 or more on Cash App, or if we can get... I don't know. What do you think would be a good goal? Why are you trans? Are you bored or something? I've been trans for 6 years, like out as trans for 6 years, and I've been trans my whole life. As far as why I'm trans, I don't exactly know if anyone knows why someone is trans. I know, like, what makes me so certain and what makes other trans people so certain in their lives, but as far as, like, what the mechanisms behind that are, nobody really knows for sure. How do you become trans? You can't. You either are trans or you are not. You cannot make someone trans. You literally can't. There have been extensive and quite unethical experiments that were conducted scientifically despite being unethical that prove for a fact that you cannot make someone trans. Nor does conversion therapy work. A trans person will remain trans even if you browbeat them into not expressing themselves. What flavor is your Valpe? I don't smoke a Valpe, so I don't know what you're talking about. Play some Melt Banana and I will give lots of money. Melt Banana? What is Melt Banana? Play some Melt Banana? Have you ever heard of that? Vape? Oh. Yeah, I'm not smoking one of those either. Isn't becoming trans like becoming a Ninja Turtle? No.
Oh?
Huh?
I didn't know you were a big old turtle. That's right.
I'm just like wondering, like what, like what do they mean by that? Like what does that mean?
In the sewer eating pizza or something?
I have no idea. What's up, Perseus? Geeked off the Vipper? I know, right? Off the Yipper? What are you talking about? Japanese noisecore punk? Japanese noisecore punk. Tst. Japanese... What? Man, this chat has gone beyond me tonight.
Maybe there's too many generations.
I know, right? Too many genres. There's too many genres. There's too many classifications. There's too many different kinds of music.
Clap for it. Although I kind of like it.
The world was better when it was classical, blues, and country.
Careful, Phoebe, your old lady is showing.
Is it? Is it a little bit?
Yeah, a little bit. These damn kids and their hip hop.
See, I can't even say that because I love hip hop.
Hip hop, it won't stop.
I see no changes. Wake up in the morning and I ask myself, is life worth living? Should I blast myself? Tired of being poor and even worse, I'm black. My stomach hurts, so I'm looking for a purse to snatch. Cops give a damn about a Negro. Pull a trigger, kill a nigga, he's a hero. Selling crack to the kids, who the hell cares? One less hungry mouth on the welfare.
And if you don't know, now you know. I'm too white to confidently rap. Just too white.
Can you ban Exotic for forcing his beliefs onto us? Exotic, Jesus is king and he loves you. Repent before Judgment Day. What evidence do you have that God even exists, Exotic?
If you talk to me, well, that just sounds crazy.
What?
So, I'm just kind of wondering if we're like, if there's just a bunch of people that are psychotic breakdowns, and they're like, Jesus talks to me.
Yeah, like, if Jesus talks to you, I would seriously wonder, like, what is going on in your life, you know? Like, Jesus should not be talking to you, considering Jesus does not exist. Now, if you want to say that you have psychedelic experiences, or if you put yourself into a trance and you talk to Jesus, like, okay, I think I'm weird on this, right? Because on the one hand, I don't like a faith-based assumption. But on the other hand, if someone has an assumption that checks out in every other way and wants to claim that that came to them in a dream, or that they had a conversation with God or Jesus or whatever that brought that to them, depending on how they talk about it and what kind of context they put it in, I might be able to see that as a valid expression of a remnant of the bicameral mind or something that is still helpful. But I feel like a lot of people use their schizophrenic conversations with their token deity as an excuse to be bigoted, an excuse to advocate for legislation, etc.
Christ the Lord Gustavo.
What? What?
Wham. Oh, Gustavo's having a shit fit.
Listen, oh dude, look at this person. Lissage up. Nobody is hating on you, so don't hate on other people's religion. It's their choice of what they want to believe, just like it was yours. Bruh. The comment I'm responding to is literally, Jesus is king and he loves you, repent before judgment day. Which is implying that they know everything about my moral identity and my actions and what I'm going to be faced with on judgment day. It's an inherently condemnatory comment.
Yeah, if you murder people, can I not have an opinion on you murdering people? Is it okay?
Yeah, that's what I would wonder. Like, to what degree do you want to strip people of their opinions, motherfucker?
But I'd like to murder Phoebe. It's not, you can't look down on that.
Well, unfortunately I do. Unfortunately for you. Fuck you, Jesus real. Yeah, I'm sure Jesus would like you to be proselytizing in his name with a mouth like that.
You know, that might be the best argument. Just fuck you. Jesus is real.
True. That is honestly the best argument. It's not a good argument, but there are no good arguments for religion. So failing everything else, I guess you might as well say, fuck you, Jesus real. It's basically all you got. It's a lot more honest. I'll tell you this much. Fuck you, Jesus real is a hell of a lot more honest than the sophistry I typically get out of Christians in this chat. Hell of a lot more honest. Fuck you, Jesus real. At least I know that you're passionate about what you believe in, and at the end of the day, you don't give a shit what my atheist ass has to say about it or thinks about it. Okay, that's honest at least. Don't give me all these fucking meandering, fucking proselytizing apologist points about how Jesus is actually real, and God is real, and I can prove all of these blatantly, obviously false presuppositions within the Bible. That's jerk-off, Philbro bullshit. Fuck you, Jesus real is at least honest.
Nuh-uh. That's usually what we get. Nuh-uh.
Right. I mean, like, it all amounts to nuh-uh, so you might as well say nuh-uh. Like, that's how I'm gonna basically interpret it, even if you Philbro me. Even if you provide me with Pascal's wager, that's a nuh-uh to me. I love your responses, though. I love when intelligent people are the ones, what do you say? They choose to push their agenda on. I know, right? They make a crucial mistake, and that's one of the reasons why I keep this kind of downtrodden kind of appearance and everything. One of the reasons why I've decided that I don't really need to care as much about my looks as so many other people do, because they come at me assuming I'm a fucking moron, like they are. which I come from the same stock they do. I'm working class to my fucking core, born in absolute fucking poverty, grew up in extreme poverty, but I fucking learned how to read, and then I continued reading as an adult, which puts me in a position of privilege in argumentation and debate above these people who come at me with the weakest fucking arguments known to man. Mind you, I'm arguing with these people while I'm shit-faced. And this is the quality of my argumentation. Imagine how good it is when I'm sober. Karma will get you for this. You can't even spell karma correctly. But you would also need to demonstrate the existence of such a phenomenon.
Oh boy.
I feel like believing in God is just a personal belief, like I believe in God, but that's my personal belief, you know? Yeah, exactly. And I don't have any problem with someone who's just personal with their beliefs. What I have a problem with is people who want to use their belief in God and their conviction to that effect to try and rule over my life or your life or anyone else in here's chat, like in this here chat's life. I don't like the idea that because you believe some delusional bullshit, you get to have some say in how I live my life. I think if you're going to argue that you should have some say over how I live my life, you should be able to argue from a secular standpoint why that is good for humanity. For example, we can argue from a completely secular standpoint why normalizing murder would be a completely bad thing for humanity. We can articulate with secular terms why murder is ethically wrong. We do not need to introduce a God to make murder ethically wrong. It is something that can be easily argued from a secular morality. Murder is obviously something that you would not want visited upon you, and therefore it is, even from a selfish standpoint, good to normalize the punishment and prosecution of murder. But you would also not want to see your friends and family murdered in most cases, which is another reason why you would not want to morally affirm that, why you would want to make murder, immoral. Now, obviously, there's also the argument that murder is, like, definitionally an immoral killing, so obviously murder's always going to be immoral. But I would argue that there is a reason why murder is seen as immoral, whether it's you're talking about a secular morality or a religious morality. The only time you need to bring God into it is if you want to provide some kind of specific argument against some kind of very specific behavior that can be done ethically and morally under a secular framework, but which you don't think should be done for some stupid religious reason. That's the only time you need to invoke some kind of divine intelligence in governance. And I reject it. I reject it as an argument. Prove your case on secular terms. We have free will regardless, so that's your opinion, of course. We're all talking about opinions here. That's kind of the nature of this conversation, but my opinion is held passionately and it is held with strength. And I would love to see someone argue against it if anybody in this chat is capable. Free will and an omniscient, omnipresent, and omnipotent God cannot exist in the same realm. Exactly, Hanobs. 100%. Or Hannah BS, I'm not sure how to pronounce your name, but yeah. I have made this point a million times. Matt, back me up on this. You cannot have omniscience, omnipotence, and omnipresence and be benevolent by any human standard.
You also can't have free will either.
Yeah, and you can't have free will within a system where you've got this God with an omniscient, all-knowing plan that controls everything, knows exactly how everything's going to go. Like that, those two things are fundamentally contradictory. You can't even have limited choice in such an instance, unless you presume that God knows all possible futures, but then you're saying there's at least one thing that God doesn't know, which is what future is going to take place. He might know what all possible futures are, but that makes him not fundamentally all that different from fucking Doctor Strange, who we know was created by human beings. So what does that say about God?
show Good Omens?
Yes. Yes.
So have you recently seen the ending of the third season where it's basically
No.
a movie?
No, I have not.
Ooh, then how do I make my point without, or how do I ask my question without like, or not question, but how do I, without like spoiling it for you? I don't.
Go ahead. I'm unlikely to watch the rest of it.
So in the end, God has basically said like this universe is done. That's my plan, I guess, for the universe, and they're going to go off and restart a different universe. And so the angels that are in love with each other, I forget what their names are, Crawley and the other one. They basically asked for a universe that's based on science, that's going to end in a couple billion years in a big heat death, and there is no God, there is no angels, there's no interference with God or anything like that. And so in this show, God is like basically started the universe and then just left. And basically said, you guys make all your own decisions. So all the angels, they're not making decisions based on what God said. They're just making decisions on what they think God wants, basically. But they don't know.
Okay, neat. And what
So
point is this illustrating?
Well, it's not really illustrating a point. I was just kind of interesting take on it. Like where is God if blah 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 is real? It's like, well, and here they basically explain it like God is real, but they just don't give a shit about you. They're just completely separated from humanity or angels or all that bullshit.
Okay, well, that's it's basically like, what if deism is real? And my take on it is, all right, cool. I'm fine with deism. I always have been. Maybe deism is the truth. I think that simulation theory is a variety of deism. If you think about it, it really is a variety of deism. There's lots of different theories about the philosophical nature of the universe that basically amount to some derivative of deism. And I think most people that are philosophically honest will eventually come to like either the atheist agnostic position or the deist position, because like it fundamentally, like the more educated you get, the more well versed in psychology and philosophy you get, the harder it becomes to actually meaningfully justify belief in a strict biblical or Torah-based interpretation or Quranic-based interpretation of any kind of God, or that it becomes impossible to base your ideas of God on the writings in the Vedas or in the Bhagavad Gita or any of these different religious texts. So what you start to like do is kind of you get to assemble your morality and viewpoint from other things. And God damn it, Kitty, I can't have you up here right now. I'm trying to smoke, bro. Sorry, I keep, like, my cat distracted me. Let me see. Let me see here. What did I read that made me start talking?
Oh, some religious bullshit.
Well, whatever. Kitty, go on. Go on. I'm trying not to smoke you out, bro.
It's really the only version of the story that I may be willing to accept, even if I don't know.
Oh, deism. That's what we were talking about. Yeah. Go on.
It's like, yeah, like something created the universe, but they just don't really give a shit about you and moves on, basically. It's like,
yeah.
that would make more sense than their version of what the fuck's going on.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. So, like, once you get to a certain point of your education and your awareness of, like, how the world works and biology and all these different things, I feel like deism is the only natural conclusion, or agnostic atheism. Like, it's obviously, like, I don't think you can be a Gnostic atheist and that you know 100% who, like, you know for a fact that nobody created the universe, that nothing created the universe, that, like, I don't think science has been able to determine that quite yet. But we know for pretty much a fact that if there is anything that has some control of the universe, it apparently operates well within the constraints of physical reality. It apparently has no effects or intentionality that can be interpreted or detected reliably by science, and it doesn't seem to have much care for what goes on in human society, given the amount of depravity that all kinds of societies are able to engage in.
Well, I choose to live my life like there is no God until somebody proves it, or I for some reason start believing it. And so far, no.
What would it take for you to start believing in God?
A mental breakdown, and then I start hearing the words of Jesus. Something like that. So far, no.
Very honest. Dude, y'all, my cat, there's this baseball in here that my cat absolutely loves. And she has gotten to the point where she's big enough now to carry it around in her mouth. And she just carries it around, so I guess she's found out what her favorite toy is. She's a sweet baby, though. She's a tuxedo kitty. That's why I think my mom brought her home, is because I used to have a tuxedo kitty named James. That was my little feline road dog for so long. All the time I spent traveling by myself and alone, and some of the time I spent traveling with Adam, I had my kitty, and he was like my constant companion. He would even, like, sometimes he would ride in the passenger seat, and when he was awake and stuff, sometimes he would, like, prop himself up on the window and look out as the highway passed us by. He would sleep on the dashboard a lot of times in the mornings, and I'd wake up to him sleeping there. He'd come and greet me. I miss that kitty so much. I think my mom knows that I like tuxies, and that's why she brought him home and was like, "Here, I brought you a kitty."
It's too bad that cat is crazy.
Well, she's a little bit nutty, but she's okay.
I she'll grow out of it, hopefully.
Yeah. I'm so hungry, dude. I got really drunk and now I'm fucking starving.
Why don't you go grab a bag of chips or something?
Because I don't have a fucking bag of chips. I mean, I guess I do, but I don't like that shit, dude. I've gotten weird. I know I'm fat and everybody makes fun of me for being fat, but I have a way better diet than you would, like, think, just, like, looking at me. And I am kind of, like, averse to eating chips. Like, once a month for, like, 3 or 4 days, I'll let myself enjoy some chips, if it usually it starts because, like, we have a dinner one night that's basically sandwiches and chips, which is sometimes quite nice. Reminds you of times at the beach, simpler days. And usually, for a few days after that, I'll continue munching on whatever bag of chips we bought for that dinner. But after that's gone, then I don't end up eating snacks like that because they don't really appeal to me. It just feels like something I should do since they've been opened and now they're out and, like, it's a family-sized bag and everything. But after that's gone, I don't typically do that, right? So, and, like, even, like, the things I eat in my day-to-day, I don't eat big portions at this point. And, like, even if I do eat a, like, big portion, it's because, like, that's the only thing I've eaten that day. In that case, I will, I guess. But it's, like, still more reasonable than portions in early years of my life would have been. So, I don't know. I could grab a bag of chips. I think there's 1 or 2 in there that haven't been finished off yet, but nah. I ain't trying to dig shit out of my teeth for the next 2 hours. So loud and so wrong, SMH. What the fuck do you know about how I'm living my life, bitch? Talking all this fucking bullshit, but you don't know a goddamn thing. I'm trying to think if I ever see Phoebe eat chip. Fope. Okay, Fope. Now I'm Fope again. Fope. I'm the Fope. Listen, I've eaten chip, but my addiction to chips ended a long time ago, okay? Even Takis. At this point, I buy like one Takis bag a year. And I'll like bunch on it throughout like 3 weeks. And then eventually get done with it. And then that's it on me for Takis for a while. So I've improved. I'm better. I'm greater now, okay? Fope ope. Yep.
Faster, stronger, better. Do it longer.
Better, stronger, narrow it, faster. Faster, better, stronger, narrow it. What do you think about Hellenistic polytheism? Fuck, man. As long as you ain't trying to legislate on it, I guess I don't give a shit. Do what you want, man.
Isn't life hard enough? Come on now.
Listen, life is hard enough without some random trans girl from the deep south telling you what gods you can and can't believe in, okay? Listen, the only time I care is when you start legislating on the basis of it, or telling me I can't live for some reason.
Oh boy.
What, Matt?
Oh, Taylor. She's like, I want to eat this cheesecake, and I want to eat these tacos, and now my tummy hurts. I'm like, yeah, no shit, Taylor. No shit.
I blame Takis for my stomach issues when I discovered them. I was obsessed. Listen, Takis are good. I can't help it. Takis are delicious. Your devil wants to silence you so bad. What are you talking about? Question, do you identify as one gender or both? I respect that you're yourself and not trying to trick a motherfucker. I'm a trans feminine person. I'm a trans woman.
Taylor, I knew it.
Okay.
That's not what I said. I ate a lot of Takis in a short period of time. There was a kid at school that used to sell them out his backpack for $1 for one of the fun-size bags.
Okay, my mistake, Taylor. You're not making yourself sick. It's okay. My bad.
That's why I don't eat spicy food anymore, because Phoebe remembers when I would just like randomly throw up because my heartburn and acid reflux was so bad because I melted my stomach lining with spicy food and tomato and sour candies.
That's crazy.
It was pretty bad.
Okay, Taylor. My bad. I take it back. Don't shoot me. I'll come through my roof. Oh, where'd Phoebe go?
I know.
Who's this here?
Somebody just said something about hot fries. I love hot fries. But I can't eat them. But for a while I had the regular ones, just the cheese fries. Bender, I would eat like a bag of them a day, and then like I wonder why I'm big as a house.
I mean, I'm just your stereotypical white guy. The spicy stuff is too spicy.
I'm gonna tweak out. Why are you tweaking out? What's going on? Drinking, you got deleted.
Why are they upset?
I don't know. Shush. Why are you pushing Christianity? Be quiet. Oh, shit. Somebody's getting mad. Listen, calm down. Settle on down, Kyrie. You're okay. It's fine.
Christianity deserves to be pushed, that's why.
No, it does not. Fucking Christianity is such a fucking death toll, bro.
It needs to be pushed off a cliff, okay? That's what needs to happen.
Listen, not all Christians are bad. In fact, I know a lot of good Christians. Taylor is one. Taylor's cool. But, like, fundamentalist type of people. You know, like, the people that used to be derisively called Bible thumpers, they, you know, like, that kind of shit, like, what's the deal with that, man? Like, can we be done with that? Like, if you want to say that the Bible is, like, an interesting document that gives you, like, an interesting perspective on life, and it helps inform some of your morality, maybe that's fine, okay? But, like, when people are like, I want to bring about the rapture and, like, the end of the world, I'm like, what are you doing? Why? That's a strange motivation.
What is Mike Lindell doing out here? Refuses to accept he's an election loser. He wants to win so bad. How did the My Pillow guy get here? How did this happen?
I used to come into My Pillow guy's pillows.
Oh my god.
Ew. That might be the grossest thing you've ever said, Phoebe.
I degraded his
It's not,
pillows.
It's really not.
It's really, really not. No, it's far from the most depraved thing I've said, but, you know.
Oh,
I certainly won't be the one enlightening you on that, you know.
I can't remember any of them. I scrubbed them, but I know that they're there.
Right. I've said some deplorable things over the years, so.
Jesus Christ. You know what, Phoebe? You need Jesus.
They do say I'm a wordsmith. Sometimes those words are just really mean.
Maybe these Jesus freaks in chat are right. Maybe you do need Jesus.
No, I don't need Jesus. I think I just need maybe some anger management classes, maybe some therapy. Maybe some more drugs.
Everything will be fine as long as we get used to the DFF meetup. That's what we need to do.
DFF. Okay, I'm gonna make a genuine plea to you guys. Maybe you're broke, and if that's the case, then that's fine. Because Donald Trump has completely destroyed this country and made it unfeasible for a lot of people to, like, maintain their grocery bill and their rent. But if you've got, like, an extra $5 floating around in your wallet that you're like, oh, you know, I could donate this to a cool streamer that's kind of nutty and worth it, you know, like, if you've got that, consider donating, because I am currently saving up to go to the Deep Fat Fried meetup in early December in Seattle. I'm going to be taking the train, and I'm going to be doing a lot of filming during that time, and I'm going to cut some kind of little YouTube documentary out of that. It's not going to be little, but it's going to be something worth watching. I don't exactly know what the theme of it's going to be, but I've already envisioned big scenes and chunks of it in my head. So whatever the core moral of it ends up being, it's going to be something that's interesting to participate in and watch. And if you're interested in participating in that project or contributing to its fruition, then please contribute to the channel via Super Chat down at the bottom right, or Cash App, which is down below in the description. Bot? I ain't no bot, Helltown.
Yeah, she's right here.
I'm right here.
Does she look AI generated?
Yeah.
It would be the best AI generation I've ever seen. Live responses. Crazy.
Live responses sometimes before the entire sentence is even read out.
Alright, but when are we going to talk about this Hegseth fella?
What is a Hegseth?
Like a cockroach, German cockroach type thing.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I've heard about those. Isn't there one of those running the Department of War these days?
Yeah. But he's more like a Madagascar hissing cockroach.
I thought those things were cute. No, you're bullshitting. I've seen a picture of that weirdo. That thing's not... That there's no way it's a fucking Madagascar hissing cockroach. Those things are kind of cute. I'm thinking more an American swamp cockroach.
A palmetto bug.
Yeah, a palmetto bug, exactly. Okay, so yeah, let's talk about this. So Pete Hegseth covered up the real reason why the USS Abraham Lincoln is apparently experiencing supply shortages, which is possibly why your military friend, Matt, thought that it was just them being pussies. Apparently, a critical Middle Eastern naval supply, like supply port or something like that, got struck by Iranian forces and disabled, and therefore they are not able to resupply and land for, the normal kind of...
They were without power or something?
Something like that. It's fucking wild, though, because he's acting like it's just, everything's going as normal. Like, it's just, this is like what happens in wartime, like, there's nothing abnormal about this. Make no make no notice of the lack of landings or resupply runs to a port. Like, make no notice of the fact that the ship is having to be maintained by, further and further distant supply lines. Make no notice of any of these things. Did you see the breaking news? Trump declaring economic D-Day against Iran? Yeah, I saw it. It's an empty threat. I talked about it a little bit earlier. Donald Trump is not going to do a goddamn thing against Iran that has not already been done or that cannot be circumvented by Tehran. These kind of tactics have been used before to about the same effect, and Iran has gotten really good at circumventing them.
You saw on the DFF episode yesterday about that like big robot that you climb into and walk around with?
No.
So it was like these robots that we see right now, but except it's like, I don't know, like a story tall, and you climb into it and you control it.
So it's a mech.
Yeah, I was like, how far away are we from mechs? When's it going to be just Gundam out here?
We're there, apparently, from what you just told me.
Well, it's just the skeleton. It doesn't have any armor. It doesn't have any weapons. It's just...
Well, yeah, but, like, once you've got the skeleton, you've got the platform to add fucking armor and weapons, so, like, what's the difference? I don't know, dude. I've been thinking about it... Well, I've been thinking about it for a long time, because, honestly, mechs are a way better solution to, like, the oldest problem in military strategization, which is, like, even if you manage to get a few missiles off, even if you manage to get air superiority over a given area, you can't actually get in there and enforce the conditions that you want to happen unless you can get soldiers on the ground making that the case, right? Like, you can't do that with just drones. You have to actually land troops to actually affect change in the way people are living their lives or in the control that's over a certain area. So, like, if you can do that with, instead of a deployment of 2,000 troops, you can do that with a deployment of 200 people piloting mechs that have, like, armor that resists all kinds of small arms and shit like that, and that has a lot more strength available to it than a regular human being would have, then all of a sudden, you don't need to deploy nearly as many people to get the same effect in an area. Once the mechs get everything cleared up, then a few people get out of their mechs while the rest of them, patrol in turns with the mechs. And then, like, those human beings that get out of the mechs are the ones who actually go around with their small arms to make sure that people are doing the things they want to do and disarming properly or whatever has to be done, like fighting on foot. But yeah, like it's the natural next evolution to warfare besides drones. Drones are already a primary part of how warfare is done, and the next natural evolution that I see is like human piloted suits of armor that make it a lot easier for an invading force to get...
All those things, Phoebe, don't they end up like destroying whole cities and stuff just from fighting each other?
Yeah, but that's the thing. If it's like being piloted by a human being that's not fighting other mechs, but that is rather trying to, like, the case is going to be in, like, until it just becomes a standard of warfare completely, like, for about 20 years, it's just going to be the countries that have mechs oppressing the countries that don't have mechs with their mechs, right? As a result, I think that there's going to be not a lot of destruction, honestly. Not a lot more than you would see with any kind of modern warfare methods that are already being used. Like, think about how much, like, look at Gaza, how it's just been leveled, basically. We already do things that are a lot higher scale of destruction than what I think would be necessary to do with a mech or something like that. Because the whole idea of a mech is that you've already gained air superiority, you've already bombed out the targets you needed to bomb out, and shelled the targets that you needed to shell with artillery, and now you're going in with the invading force. So they're not there to plant a bunch of explosives and blow shit up or to tear buildings apart. They're there to ensure compliance, basically, and to root out the last offenders.
And they say, science accelerates with war, and they ain't kidding.
They aren't kidding. Not at all. Flowers shouldn't be illegal. I agree, Geoff. I agree. I off work now is nice, Arya. The Cult of Bisky? The Cult of Bisky? The Cult of Bisky. We really got a Cult of Bisky going on. I'm going to be first situation in Bisky's chat. And I'm going to send some people over his way. I'm going to send some people over his way. I'm going to do it. You can't stop me. You can't stop me. Go say hi to Shabisky. Go say hi to Shabisky. Go say hi to Shabisky. I repeat, go say hi to Shabisky. Do hashtag Phoebe Raid. This is the second time I've done this today. Go say hi to Shabisky. I just posted the link in chat. Go say hi to Shabisky. If you don't do it, you're lame. You aren't trying to praise Christ at all. You must be an idiot. I'm not an idiot. I'm just a person who doesn't believe in Christ. Why should I believe in Christ? Nobody's ever given me good evidence for Christ. It's literally normal. Viewers naturally drop once the algorithm stops feeding people into the stream. Yeah, literally. It drops to about like 20 to 30 people. Maybe it'll rise. Maybe it'll fall. Like, I don't know. But, like, it's not that abnormal. It really is not. You don't have to worry about it. Stop tripping, because it's fine. Stop tripping, because it's fine. Come on. Alright. Come on, people. Send Shabisky some love. Send Bisky some love. I demand that you send Shabisky some love. Go to Shabisky's chat and say hashtag Phoebe Raid. I just fucking linked it in chat. Go to Shabisky's thing and say hi. Matt, you do it for me real quick.
Just put the Streamlabs in the chat.
Just to add... Yeah, just to add to the artificial shit, like, just to... Because I can do it, right? Like, because you're nice and you love me, so you'll do it.
I'm going to say hi.
Yay, I love you, Matt. Are you ending stream? No, I'm not ending stream. I just want you guys to go say hi to Shabisky. I just want you guys to go say hi to Shabisky, because I love you guys. Yes.
It's a really weird start to the stream, because all I see is literally one viewer. Let me see.
Yeah, go say hi to Shabisky. Thank you, Matt. Ayo, Rogue Tower is the bomb. Sorry, I swear to God I'm normal. Yes. Jordan's faves, you gotta say hashtag Phoebe Raid. You gotta say hashtag Phoebe Raid. Aw, Nambot's in there. Yay. Yes, you guys say hi.
Yeah, thank you, Phoebe Raid.
Yes, say Phoebe Raid. Hashtag Phoebe Raid. Do it. Right now. I love you guys.
That's cool, man. Bye. You're the only person I've ever seen that's ever said that to me in the chat. One of my subscribers, Skeptical Jesus, got me to get this game, and And since then, nobody has ever said that, as far as I can remember. They know what this
Poor Shabisky.
I know, right? I love Shabisky, though. I like sending him people. So yeah, go over to Shabisky's chat and send him some love. Donate to him if you can afford it.
Shabisky.
Yeah, Shabisky's genuinely cool. Genuinely cool.
Baby, I picked a scab and now I think I'm bleeding out. It won't stop. It won't stop.
That's why you're not supposed to pick at those. Don't diabetic people bleed easier?
I'm sorry?
Don't y'all have thinner blood?
Like diabetics?
Mm-hmm. Right.
No, I don't think it affects like your blood thickness.
Oh. Is that just some medieval...
It makes it easier to get infections.
Is that just some medieval bullshit that I picked up and strewn through the years?
Well, let me Google it. I don't think so. I haven't heard about that.
I'm probably wrong. I'm gonna treat you. Hemophiliacs. That's what I was thinking of. It's not diabetics. It's a specific illness. And the answer is, your girl, you're kind of stupid. I'm kind of stupid. A little bit stupid. I want to see if Bisky's getting more viewers. Hold on, I gotta see. You guys better be giving Bisky some love. You guys better fucking be giving Bisky some goddamn love. Yes, you guys are. I love you guys. Y'all are awesome. Let's see if you say anything about it. I'm gonna back him up like 60 seconds and we're gonna see what he's saying. I'm going back to watch Phoebe, but have a good night. Thank you, Aria, for donating to Shabisky. That's so kind of you.
What's up, Annie?
What? You guys are so nice. I love y'all.
Guys, hit the like button on the stream for me.
Yes, do hit that like button. Let me hit that like button.
Alright, answer's not again. I gotta go for a little bit. I don't know if you'll be sure to official word, but
What now?
I gotta go for a little bit.
Oh, okay. Alrighty. Well, I'll just entertain the chat by myself then, I guess. Phoebe, after thinking about something, I want to debate you. What about? Shit. What about? And I'll tell you whether it's, like, worth it. Oh, shit. I might need to turn this light off. I'm getting well drunk. I need to hydrate more. Oh, shit. I need to not drink for a minute. Who is Trubisky? Shabisky, not Trubisky. Shabisky's a cool dude that I've been on a podcast with a few times, and I like to send people over to his stream when I can. Why the fuck do you have a satanic symbol behind you? Because I think it's a cool looking thing. If you look at it, it's like a Ouija board, but it's not. It's a spirit board. I think it makes a good addition to the backdrop, and I think that I could perceive a situation in which I could see a ritual use of it. You know, I've used it to do some readings on people here in chat, but yeah. Oh shit. Oh my god. Oh. I'm gonna step outside for a minute. Hi, kitty. Okay. I'm back. Oh, you guys sicken me. Why are you still here then? Just wondering. If she wanted to silence you, it wouldn't have been temporary. You wouldn't have been able to come back. Exactly. I'm back, oh well. You tried to silence me. You sicken me with your victim complex. Very effective way to spread the word of God by calling people sickening. Yeah, I know, right? I'm sure that works on all kinds of people. It's definitely going to work. Yeah, I know, right? I'm sure we're all going to convert tomorrow because this person in chat called us sickening. You sicken Joe Pesci, exactly. And that's a worst offense. I didn't think I'd be able to get drunk off of cheerleader beers, but I think I figured out what I'm going to be drinking from here on out. Because these things, it was $5 for fucking 4 of these. And they're 10% alcohol by volume. So I think they might be the best value on the market. As far as like stuff you can get after 10 p.m. in the deep south and shit that's like pretty cheap and gets you drunk, like, man, I don't know. I hesitate to think where you'd find better value. Cheering, yep, yeah, exactly, yes. Yes, they're cheerleader beers, yes. Yeah, dude, yes. I pretty much exclusively drink cheerleader beers or mixed drinks. You can get a bottle and a 2-liter for less. Depends on like what that bottle is of. But also, this is only my second one of these, and I haven't even dug in to my third Mike's Hard Lemonade, and I'm fucking shit-faced. Like, if I drink any more, like, liquor, I'm gonna fucking puke. So, I'm cutting myself off. But those were like $5 for 4 of them, so I'm like, hell yeah. If you want some fruity garbage, I like Monaco's. They're also like 9 to 12%. And they're not made with malt liquor, so they don't make me headachy. Nice. I'll have to check that out. I'm not sure what these are made with. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Premium cocktail. Cocktail in a can. Product of Canada, beer. It says beer on here, but that might just be how it's sold. I don't know what kind of stuff is in this, but I'm not gonna drink any more of it. Mike's is definitely malt liquor. What were those drinks you got drunk on called? They're called the original Club Tails. The particular flavor I got is Bahama Mama. Oh my god. Googled Cubtails, and yeah, they are malt liquor. Good to know. So I guess the term cheerleader beers really is apt, huh? No, I don't have a headache, but I am like, whoa. I would have drank a lot slower if I knew they were going to hit me like this. Whew. I feel like I just have to ride through it, you know? I used to like strawberries growing up, yeah. Drunk Phoebe is coming. Drunk Phoebe is here. Drunk Phoebe is here. I'm fucking like shit-faced. I've been fucking drunk for a minute. You guys didn't realize that Drunk Phoebe was the one talking to you? Come on now. You guys know me better than that, I hope. Are usually open to talk during the day. I can get really depressed sometimes and I don't really have anyone to talk to. Except the suicide hotline, which sucks. I don't mean to be a bother. Unfortunately, I'm gonna be real with you. I'm usually asleep during the day. And when I'm not asleep, I'm usually like, that's because I've got my kid and I'm like hanging out with him. But I'm always happy to like try and talk through things on here. I don't know. I feel like you would benefit from trying to like, you know, check out like a, you know, if you've got like a game store near you, maybe check that out. See if there's like some cool people hanging out at a game store near you, or like trying like a bar or something. But like, I don't want to offer something that I know I won't be able to provide at a satisfactory level. And I don't want you to hate me because you add me on Discord and I'm not reliable, because I'm very bad at DMs. Just ask anyone. Anyone. I'm very bad about DMs. But I can talk about things on here, and I would really hope that you would be able to find a social group. Because you've got socialization skills. You talk to me in here. Yeah, you can always join the Discord. It's a cool community. You can hang out in there and participate in there. Find some friends in there, maybe. Nowhere else on the internet exists such a wretched hive of scum and villainy as Phoebe's Discord. That's true. That's true. Or my chat. My YouTube chat is like the closest competitor. Oh my god. I guess I should be streaming to Kick too. Be funny if I did that and it ended up really working well for me. You can come argue with some bigots in general, yeah, for sure. And you can meet some other like-minded people who will be cool. We have fun, we give each other depression, all in a day's work. Hell yeah. That's what we do. Well, there's nobody watching anyway, so fuck it. And fuck it, there's nobody talking that ain't a member either, so. Oh shit, what did I just do? That's not what I meant to do. I live in the middle of nowhere, and when I go to the library, most of the people there are either unreliable, or there's one guy in particular that I talk to sometimes who thinks that genocide in Gaza is just a war. Oh no. Yeah, see, so you gotta see if like there's a local community near you that's got a game store, or has like a, like, I don't know, man. I hate to tell someone to use AI, but you would be shocked at the amount of information that AI is able to look into and compile and provide to you in a way that is useful. So like you could use like Gemini or something and be like, I live in this specific area, these are the towns I can get to, can you tell me a complete list of all the places that kind of have a progressive bent or a progressive audience or whatever that I could possibly meet people at. And it'll give you, you know, at least a few different places that you can try maybe. Move this back since I've got my phone sitting where I've got it anyway. Oh shit. That didn't work the way I thought it was going to. Okay. Songs were just like prayers, like gospel hymns that you caught in the air. Come down, sweet reverence, unto my simple house and ring. Ring like silver, ring like gold. Ring out those ghosts on the Ohio. Ring like clear day wedding bells. Read the belly of the beast or the sword that fell. We'll never tell. Some sea. Watch the world spin your waves round the sea. And I've been crazy, couldn't you tell? Threw stones at the stars when the whole sky fell. Now I'm covered in strawberry up on the table, and I drank and sang and passed in the stable. Oh, 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 oh. send me back to where I roam. Well, I cursed and I cried, but now I know. Now I know. And I ran back to that holler again. The moon was just a sliver back then. And I ached for my heart like the Tin Man. When I came, oh, it drank and it boiled and it rained. It's ringing. Ring like crazy, ring like hell. Turn me back toward that wild-haired gale. Ring like silver, ring like gold. Turn these diamonds straight back into coal. Turn these diamonds straight back into coal. Turn these diamonds right back. The Stable Song, Gregory Alan Askov, if you were wondering. Great, my cat is hitting again, so I can never escape the domestic violence. Oh, I'm sorry. And yes, like and donate if you can. Dude, I didn't realize that this thing would work as a phone stand, but it does. I apparently don't even need a phone stand really, because this thing works like weirdly well as one. This thing I've got my phone in, like literally right here. This thing, this weird like used candle holder, works weirdly well as a phone stand. Like oddly well. One girl, one phone cup. Why can't you be in the voice chat, Matt? What's wrong with you? I cannot speculate now. Okay, fine. I guess that's fine. That's fine. That's fine. Animals are so good for mental health. He hits me, but I'm just like, oh, it's so cute. I love you. I'm so happy. Oh, I know, right? He's like, oh. It's like when a little kid taps you, you know? I may be done unless you plan to stream for another 2 hours. No, I do not think that another 2 hours is in my future, no. Join and go on the stream. You guys have recruited someone to be in the VC?
Someone's here to keep you company, if you want to talk to them.
Oh, okay.
So, guess fit.
Oh. Okay. Oh. Alright. I guess Matt can't talk, but DRC Hellspawn can. Oh. Why do you look familiar? I probably just fun with him. This is probably nothing. This is probably nothing. Do look familiar though. Hello.
Hello?
Hello.
How are you?
Very drunk.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Right now. But all I have is weed, and I can't get high very easily.
I also have weed, so I guess technically I'm crossfaded.
Yeah.
Yeah, Matt can't hang out. He just came to letting me know that you were in the, stream guest vet VC.
Okay. Yeah. So, I don't know if you would like to hear about my problems, but I thought it'd be nice to talk about them with somebody because I wasn't able to get a hold of my therapist this week, so I'm kind of struggling.
I mean, if you want to share, it's up to you.
Yeah, so, like I was kind of saying in the chat, sometimes I get really fucking depressed with the way my life has gone. And, like for the past 8 years I've been unemployed because of my OCD and autism, mostly because of my OCD, but it took me years to get on Social Security, and I'm just starting to get on that, finally. It took me 4 years to get on that. And, now, like, sure, like, my life is slowly starting back up, but there were so many things that I wanted to do by the time I was 30, and now, like, one of the things I like doing is martial arts, and now that I'm, like, past 30, like, it really, you would be surprised how much youth plays into martial arts, how effective you are. Like, it's pretty, it can be a traumatic change, especially since I can't sleep like I used to, I can't train like I used to, working out is just hurts more, and, like, it just gets me down that I feel like I wasted my youth, and, ultimately, like, when it really comes down to it, all I really wanted was, like, a dog, a girlfriend, or a wife, or something in a house, and somebody to be happy with, and that's all I really
really wanted out of life, and maybe just the hobbies on the side and stuff like that. But I just, I just get so depressed about it sometimes, like how much people have accomplished with just being a Gen Zer, like running for office, and like people having kids like younger than me, and it just.
How old are you?
It really makes me depressed. I'm 33.
Okay, so yeah, you're... Okay, so I guess I fall into that camp of people having kids younger than you.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, yeah. Okay, so 33 is still not, ancient. There are people that start new careers in their 50s sometimes, depending on how much of their life, I almost said their wife, but depending on how much of their life they feel like they, quote unquote, wasted. Sometimes people start over really late in life. But I would argue that even if you didn't end up returning to martial arts specifically, it's not like you wasted that time you spent doing it, because human life, I mean, as far as we know, there's no afterlife, and like maybe you feel differently, but the way I look at it, there's no afterlife, and this whole weird experiment of human existence is about trying to have as many interesting experiences as possible. So maybe you get back into it, maybe you get back into it in a limited way, maybe you don't get back into it at all, but it's not like those memories go away, nor those connections, merely because you aren't necessarily participating in it anymore.
Yeah, I just, I don't know, like I said, whenever I try to work out now, even though I know it's because I haven't worked out a long time, I just can't help but think, man, that punch would have been faster if I was just a few years younger. That punch, I would have been, I can't help but think that or obsess over those things, and then it just gets me down, and then I just, get really depressed, and sometimes I get a little on edge and suicidal, but, I don't know, it's just, I can't help but there's other things that have gone on in my life. I've been mostly alone for a whole lot of it, and the people that were there ended up betraying me or leaving me because I was too damaged to be reliable. And, so it's, a lot of my life was filled with chunks of huge amounts of isolation and loneliness, and I can't help but think, man, not only was my youth wasted, but my childhood was kind of wasted. Partly because, my mom was such a religious nut job that she wouldn't let me do things or say things that would have made my life more fulfilling at that age, or it made it easier for me to find connections with other people. But because of her religion and because of some of the things that I was put through in reform school, it just left me emotionally and mentally burnt out for a very long time. And I still feel like I'm burnt out from it. And I don't know, I don't know what else to say, man. It's just, my whole life has been just me in my own mind, in the prison in my own mind, and
sounds like you've been through it.
I can't put into words how much I've suffered through with my OCD and my intrusive thoughts and all those fears and worries that it gives me every single fucking day, but I have to ignore it. I have to put on a smiley face every now and again to get some kind of a chance at a social friendship or relationship, or else nobody wants to be around a downer all the time. So
you'd be surprised, actually. You'd be surprised. More people want to be around downers than you think. You ever heard the phrase, misery loves company?
Yeah.
It's not always said with negativity. For example, I think that it's perfectly normal for people that are all grieving a loss in their life, for example, to want to get together, we just have more positive connotations for it whenever we want to normalize that behavior, which I think should be normalized in general. We call them support groups, right? But you would be surprised how many people are willing and actually interested in having friendships or relationships that either feel the same way that they do about life or how things have gone, or that have had kind of similar stories. Like, not everybody's looking for a super bright I don't say bright as in intelligent, I say bright as like personality wise. Not everybody's looking for like a glowing ray of sunshine,
Yeah.
And that I think it's important to remember that, because you can really get like stuck in this mindset of like, damn, there's nobody out there that wants to like be friends with me. There's nobody that would be friends with me. The truth of it is, there's somebody out there for anybody. I mean, Brett Keane has a wife,
And he has a loving relationship with his mac and cheese.
Exactly. You're telling me Brett Keane can have a loving relationship with Eve and Arya and mac and cheese and Dorn, but you can't have a loving relationship? You're not even agoraphobic.
I even love my water-headed idiot son.
Yeah, I love him so much that I've came to work as soliciting to him fuck his girlfriend. Oh shit, I'm never gonna let Brett live that shit down.
I just, I've been trying to get the groove back into life, but sometimes when, like, I try to work out outside, but I've been stuck here because OCD kind of triggers me whenever I hear dogs barking excessively for a long period of time, just outside barking. And it seems to be a habit for my neighbors to do that in our neighborhood. So every time I have to walk outside, I either have to do it in a very specific time when the dogs are asleep, or I have to get earphones in. And lately, I've been trying to find right earbuds for me, and I just got a new pair, and they sound like crap. So I don't know. Like,
what kind did you get?
They're like some off-brand. They were on sale for like $23. But the original cost was like $100 and something. I think let me see the box. I can't find the box. Great.
Oh, that's
it was
okay.
Like, not CSI. And now I can't find it. Oh well. Oh well. I can't remember the brand name, but
was it like JBL?
I'll probably find it. Huh?
Was it like JBL or Skull Candy or like Sony?
Like I said, it was off-brand.
It was off-brand, not one of the big ones. Okay.
Yeah. I plan to get whenever I get paid again. So.
Yeah, that'll help you out a lot. Like, I have a pair of like Skull Candy earbuds that I use, and whenever they're properly seated, they're pretty effective at noise reduction, and especially if you're listening to something, it's very hard to like hear stuff that's going on outside of that ambiently if you've got both of them in.
Wow.
So that'll help. I mean, like, that's something to look forward to, right?
Yeah. You know, it's interesting. Like, when I guess it's maybe just the mindset or the mood that I get in, but whenever I just start talking for a long enough period of time, I start really realizing, my life isn't quite that bad, but it feels like it in the moment when you're
No, I
sitting
get that
there
totally,
alone,
dude.
you don't feel like playing video games or
Yes.
anything.
Exactly. Like, you're sitting there stewing in your own gravy and shit. It feels like the gravy's pretty hot when it's just you sitting alone stewing in your own gravy. But once you start introducing some other perspectives to it, it starts to be like, oh, oh, this gravy's not so hot after all. Okay, maybe I'm overreacting a little bit or something. You know, for me, that's how I end up feeling sometimes. So I relate to that.
Yeah. When I was 16, I was sent to this reform school called Advent Home, and it fucked me up because their whole idea, like, the reason why my mom sent me there was because she was looking for specialized teachers for me, or at least that's what she claims. But when I got there, they weren't even that specialized, especially since they just switched over to an internet program for schooling. So that was out the window. And they wouldn't let you bring cell phones, no laptops, no video games, no nothing. So all the things that I relied on to decompress myself when I was burnt out was gone. And when I first got there, they had this weird psycho bitch lady try and ask me these weird questions like, did you ever smoke cigarettes? Have you ever masturbated to porn? And from that day onward, I decided not to tell anybody anything. I just shut off. And when I came out of there, I was still shut off, and I couldn't figure out how to turn myself back on socially, if that makes sense. So, it was, like, I didn't get the worst of it. Fortunately, that place got shut down because they were sued, or they got in trouble for something. One of the kids there got sexually molested by a guy that I knew there, who was a guy that was one of the most unassuming guys who worked there, honestly. But, you know, it's always the people you least suspect that do those kinds of things, or get caught with those things. But, I know, like, sometimes when I talk about this, it doesn't sound quite, like, I know some people who have gone through probably objectively worse things, but with my mental diagnoses, and when I was put in that situation where I just wasn't allowed to decompress properly, it was a nightmare. And it's hard, words just cannot describe how much pain I was in every day when I was there. For the 6 months, or the semester that I was there, was the worst 6 months of my life. It just, I don't know. I'm still trying to work all the damage out. But when I got out of there, I was so bitter and angry. Like, I was just so bitter and angry at everything that the few friends that I did have just eventually just went away from me because they didn't want to be around me. Because I would just rant and rave about all the things that would make me mad all the time. And it just, that's just, I don't know, this is just the shit that's going through my head that I'm still trying to process, you know. I really wish I had a proper therapist when I was a kid, but that never came to fruition because, it kind of did, but when I did get a therapist when I was a kid, they only helped me with, very basic social skills, and that was it, and I didn't get any other help with my OCD or any other things that was going through my head. And that therapist I was working with, I actually ended up having an almost inappropriate relationship with. So that was a whole other. Yeah, it was a therapist.
Jeez, that's that's wild.
Yeah. So she would fortunately we never fucked or anything, but she would treat me like her son, and she would spoil me. And it was very weird because, there was a point where we just wouldn't do anything but just kind of talk and eat Subway or something. And it was just nothing was getting done. And then years afterwards, I tried confronting her about certain things, and I tried to explain myself about how I was feeling about my current work environment and everything. And I told her about certain violent thoughts that I had, and she got so triggered by that she got me fired from my job, and didn't talk to me and blocked me on everything, and just, so
Damn,
that
lady,
was-
it's your job to be a
yeah.
therapist, bro. What the fuck?
Yeah.
So, like, the minute she was expected to do her job as a therapist, she was like, gross, no.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
the fuck? You've had a pretty fucked up
I don't even
life.
know how she got a therapy license, honestly. She was like a really bad therapist. Fortunately, like, there was no sexual relations, but she was inappropriate, and there was, like, you know, certain boundaries that she would cross, and I crossed. And, it just didn't, it didn't leave a very good imprint on me, if that makes sense. And I don't know, I grew up without learning certain skills that I needed to handle certain thoughts or emotions, because the place I was going to for therapy when I was like 12 or 13, that was like, it was, I don't want to publicly state what it was and dox myself, but, or dox other people, but, they mostly dealt with lower functioning autistic children, and I was like one of the few that was higher functioning, and I only needed from them only a little bit of help, and I should have moved on to a more specialized therapist because it takes a different amount of skill or a different skill set to deal with a higher functioning person that does a lower functioning autistic person.
Oh, yeah.
So they just didn't have the skills for that. And so a lot of the time, like I said, I would just hang out there after a certain point, and I just didn't, the only benefit I was getting was the social interaction from the other people I would see and talk to every day or every other day. So yeah, and and that brings another thing, like, I'm really insecure about my education because I was kind of just pushed through. And now sometimes when I'm confronted with certain conversations or with certain people and they hit those holes, giant gaping holes in my knowledge of basic fundamental math or physics or anything like that. Like, I know about the stuff that I learned about through YouTube, but that's not enough. Most of the stuff, the sciencey stuff, or at least especially with physics, leaves out a huge part of the mathematical stuff. So I just basically grew up having mostly the educational level of like a fifth grader or something like that. And yeah, like, it wasn't until I hit college that I started to catch up a little bit, but then I wasn't able to afford to keep on going at it, so I left college. And I don't know, like, sometimes, you know, that friend I was telling you about that thinks that the genocide in Gaza is just a war, he really likes to hammer me over the head with his degree in history and try to, I don't know, like, try to make me feel stupid, like I didn't know anything. And he would just talk, he just talks and talks and talks, and whenever I get the chance to talk, I don't know what to say. And then he just, like, picks up on that and just say, see, I'm right, you're wrong. Like, you know, it just, I don't know, like, he's a really nice guy. He brings the pizza to Magic the Gathering nights at the library and everything. But when it comes to topics of politics or, like I said, the Zionist issue, he's like a monster. Like, I just don't get it. Like, how somebody can be that nice, but when it comes to people suffering in anywhere else, like, I guess it just would really have to take his own family being burned down to the ground for him to see the error of his ways. And I don't want that to happen to him, but...
Have you ever told him that?
Maybe that's the only way he could figure that out.
You ever told him that?
Huh?
Have you ever told him that?
No, because, like I said, every time he talks to me, like, he just, I don't know, he likes to do the shotgun spitfire facts and so-called wisdom that he has and just throws it at the wall and see whatever sticks. So...
Next time next time he has a conversation with you, I would just say, like, you know, just, like, think about what you want to say, but have it be basically what you just said to me, because I think that that's the most eloquent way to put it. And wait, like, don't even, you know, try to interrupt or whatever. Just let him, you know, finish the rant, and then at the end, you're like, you know, I just think that it would take your home and your family burning down into death in the fire of Israeli missiles for you to understand what's going on. Apparently pictures of burned victims are not enough. Apparently pictures of dismembered corpses are not enough. ArchiveGenocide.com is not enough. You know, well, I know, but that's the thing. You can point people like that to websites like ArchiveGenocide.com, which documents, like, verified real occurrences of Israeli violence against Palestinians, and it's endless pages of pictures. And at some point, you can't say all of it's propaganda. Nobody can say all of it's propaganda, because at that point, you're just saying you don't believe in anything. And at that point, you could hit them with the, okay, then how do you trust anything that Israel puts out? How do you know that it's not propaganda?
Yeah. And the funny thing is that when I was doing research, a little bit of research anyways, on the whole Gaza thing, there was like a news report where they claimed they found the tunnels underneath the hospitals and the schools that Hamas was hiding in, and they showed a calendar. They said, this has all the names of all of the Hamas members of a part of this quadrant or whatever, and it turned out it was just everybody who had eyes could tell it was just a calendar. It had no names on it accusing anybody of anything. So I could bring that up to him, but I don't know what he would have to say. He'd probably criticize me for not reading enough books, because he thinks, like, if you get your information off the internet, then it's inherently unreliable because people aren't held to the same standards for internet posts as they are for books, which is partially true, but...
Well, then you should ask him what he has to say about Norm Finkelstein and the many books that he's written talking about how Israel manipulates the global population and makes excuses for their genocide. Like, there are authors who have decried Israel's genocide for a long time. And
what was the guy's name?
Norm Finkelstein. He's a Jewish guy.
Okay. And see, that's also a thing. Like, there's so many Jews. Like, I know, like, the Jewish community is kind of split on this, but there's so many Jews that do not condone Israel at all.
Yeah, exactly.
Even Einstein, like, way back when this whole shit started, he at first was for Israel. But then when he learned more about what was going on, he came to realize that this is just the flip side of Nazism, the other side of the coin.
Yeah, and he said as much.
Yeah.
And he refused the prime ministerial, too. He was offered the prime ministeria of Israel, and he declined it because he saw that it, like, the Nakba take place through international newsreels. So, yeah.
And I don't know.
So what
like,
you need to do...
I need to read more books, honestly.
Well,
so.
It's not even... Like, listen, I'm not trying to tell you to read more books, but listen, if you are feeling lonely and you don't have a lot of people to talk to anyway, then maybe next time you're at the library for a Magic the Gathering game anyway, go ahead and see if they've got any books by Norm Finkelstein, or see if they've got, like, you know, use Google or something beforehand and figure out, like, a wide range of titles that you can reference while you're there, and try and find a few of those and take them home and read them. You'd be shocked at how captivated you can get in a good book. You might even remember this from your high school years, and it really will be revelatory, and it will also expand your ability to argue against what we in the debate, like we debate people on YouTube call the person the type of person you're talking about a Phil bro, someone who, or a history bro. Basically, someone who wants to use either their expansive knowledge of philosophy or their expansive knowledge of history and their degree and all this other shit to try and strong-arm their way through an argument, but they don't actually want to reason their way through that argument. The best counter that you can do for that as a layperson without going to college is just checking out a library book and making your way through it. And you would be shocked at how few books you have to read to be able to argue against these people competently.
Which surprises me, because if he's the one, he was like actively encouraging me to download the library app and to read more books. Which, if that's true, then why is he just lying to me? Is he? I don't know. I don't know. Like, there's other things that he said that I don't know.
It could be this. I tell you this. It almost reminds me of a situation I went through when I was in jail for a brief time. There was this person that used to play me at chess, and he would shit talk, and he was funny. This old man, and he was really good at it. He wasn't the best person in the cell, but he was really good at it. One day, I figured out how to get one over on him, basically, and I won a game. And I'll never forget him looking over the board, assessing it for a couple minutes, and then knocking over his king and saying, "Checkmate, and nothing I can do." And I was like, ah, and his eyes just lit up, and he, like, the whole way he treated me changed after that. And he would still play me at chess, but it suddenly felt a lot more like two equals playing instead of me playing, a grandmaster or something. And it was cool. And maybe that's the thing. Maybe he doesn't actually believe any of the shit that he's arguing with you about. Maybe he's just trying to encourage you to read more so that you can provide refutations that make you a more skilled arguer. If so, he's going about it in a very pedantic and antisocial way. I think the way I just did it is way better. But maybe that's the point.
Yeah. I don't know, man. It's just... I've run into so many people where they're nice on the outside, but whenever you talk to them, they just always have the most horrendous beliefs. And then when you get to know them more, you start to realize, oh, that's how their beliefs are negatively affecting their lives.
Yeah.
Mom, she just doesn't, she doesn't realize, like, she thinks that she's like, she says, oh, I'm a dirty sinner or whatever, but she has this air of confidence in her Christianity and everything, and I just can't help but think that it's just one little thing that it would take to, like, totally crush her worldview, but she just refuses to bend or budge on anything, because she knows if her worldview was to be criticized in any way, then the whole thing would just shatter. The whole, like, the deck of cards just cannot hold up to scrutiny. So she has to be deliberately obtuse whenever I talk with her. Like, whenever I'm trying to explain to her why science is actually a good thing, I'm just like, well, the phone you're talking on and the car you use wouldn't work without science. And she's like, well, the computer in my car isn't working right now, so, like, deliberately obtuse.
I'm sorry. That's just... Oh my god, that's great. Dude, science is failing because the computer in my car isn't presently working. Oh my god, dude, I don't know how you do it. If I said something like that, my mom would give me the most puzzled look. And if my mom said something like that, I would look at her like she just grew a third leg. Like,
That's basically how I looked at her. I did not know what to say. I was just, like, dumbfounded how dumb of a statement that was. Like,
that takes the cake right there.
Yeah.
Oh my god. That just makes me... That I'm not gonna say giddy, but that just makes me like, man, we are doomed. We're cooked. We're barbecue chicken. I don't know. Like I wanna make you feel better. I really do. And I think that there's, a better future for you. I do think that you can improve things. I think that things can be improved, right? Let's not forget about that. But goddamn, with people like that, it is hard to not kind of think, man, we're cooked, dude. We're fucking barbecue chicken. What are we doing, bro?
Now you know how I feel on a regular basis. That's why I've been slowly cutting out YouTube from my life a little bit, just because, like, I can't, like, knowing what my mom and the people around me believe, and then I have to go and see the rage bait on YouTube all the time. It's just not a recipe for good mental health.
No, I 100% agree. Well, that's why I hope that it's enjoyable for you to hang out in our community, because, like, at least when things settle down, I think it's actually, like, the regulars and the people who participate are, for the most part, pretty cool people. And I try to, like, I do rage bait, but I do lefty rage bait at MAGA conservatives. So it's like a kind of an environment that we have a little bit of ownership over, and that, I'm able to rain down holy verbal judgment on these ungodly sycophants for Donald Trump and his anti-science agenda. And I try to make it like a place where people can kind of hang out without participating in that necessarily, but
that's one of the things. Yeah. That's one of the things that been kind of like drew me into your channel to begin with, was because you were small and you haven't gotten the ego of a big YouTuber, and you don't like advertise Raycon earbuds or Raid Shadow Legends.
Yeah, no.
Or God forbid, Ground News.
No, God, no. I saw that. Dude, I've been seeing through the fucking Ground News grift for years, and I just ain't said much about it, because I was like, whatever, man. There's YouTubers I like that are doing Ground News fucking subscriptions, and it doesn't seem like... For a long time, I thought maybe I was just crazy, honestly. But, in the back of my head, I was like, and I wish I could prove this by having talked about it in the past, but in the back of my head, for like 3 or 4 years, I've been thinking, this Ground News shit reads like an op. Like one of those things that's trying... Because that's how a lot of conservative media got its start back in 2015. A lot of people have forgotten this, but a lot of conservative media back in 2012 to 2015 kind of years, they got their start by claiming that they were unbiased, that they were going to provide you standpoints and viewpoints from both sides of the aisle. But really, it was, an outlet to the alt-right pipeline. And I kind of had that impression about Ground News after a couple times of using it and seeing how it worked and what kind of slant that it used when expressing other organizations' slant. And I was like, okay, I think I see the move here. But until other people started talking about it, I just figured maybe I'm crazy. Maybe it really is. Like, maybe I'm just like, programmed basically at this point by my paranoid attitude to read slant into everything. So maybe I'm just crazy. But then a bunch of other people recently just started talking about it, and now I feel fucking vindicated. So I might do my own fucking video essay about Ground News.
That'd be a good one. There have been several a few YouTubers that I saw talk about it. Surus seems to think that Ground News is just another news site, so you can't always trust everything it says, but it still has some good stuff in it or something like that. But I don't know how he came out with that. I would have to rewatch the video how he came out with that after he watched the first video talking about how Ground News is possibly a psyop or something like that. But I don't know.
Yeah, I want to do more investigation into it, watch some of these big YouTubers, kind of coverage of this, like, ongoing story, and then I want to do my own kind of coverage of it if I can strike while the iron's hot. I've proved the other day with a quiz that I'm apparently the worst fucking procrastinator on earth. I'm really bad about it. But if I can strike while the iron's hot for once in my fucking sorry-ass life, then it would be interesting to kind of add my perspective to this, because I feel like this is like a growing phenomenon, something that's been happening for a while, and something that people need to be aware of. People really need to accept deep in their heart that they are going to have to learn how to critically think on their own. They are not going to be able to rely on some third-party service to do their critical thinking for them. Not AI, not Ground News, not some other website. You need to learn how to fucking think critically on your own. Maybe that needs to be the point of the video essay. Maybe that needs to be the point of it.
That's, a lot of this goes back to fucking Reagan, man. Like, Reagan
Yes!
is the reason why we have such a truly dipolar opposites of news media. It used to be that you would have left-leaning people and right-leaning people get together and talk things out. They kind of do now, but it's all set up now, and there was like a law before Reagan took office that said that you have to have left-leaning and right-leaning people in the same room to talk things out, but he kind of just got rid of that. And now we have the dipolar opposites of news media that we have now, where it's just CNN, MSNBC. They're supposed to be liberal, but they're really just, I don't know,
center right,
neolibs. And then you have Fox News, which is just insanity.
Right, Hannity insanity. Fucking Hannity insanity over on Fox News. And then you got, like, the milquetoast liberals over on CNN and MSNBC and MS Now. I can see why people get so doomer about the media environment, but that's why so many people like you and so many people in my audience are watching people like me instead of these dumbass news agencies, because they want to. And think about how sad this is. I'm not that smart, but one thing I am capable of is a modicum of critical thinking. So I can read a few different articles and, like, come up with a reasonable synthesis of what the truth is, which is something that these fucking talking heads are completely unwilling to do. They've got corporate agendas, they've got scripts, they've got talking points that they need to hit on. I ain't got that shit. I give you guys my honest feelings. If I don't know how to feel about something, I tell you that. If I know how I feel about something, I tell you that, no matter how fucking algorithmically unappealing it may be. Or how fucking unfavorable to the average person, or whatever. I don't give a shit. I talk what I fucking want to. I say what I want. Say what I think. And that's what attracts a lot of people to this channel, to Paul's channel, to TJ's channel, to any of these people, to Kyle's channel, to any of these people that are willing to talk openly about what the fuck is actually going on, and to call out the problems, like the surface level ones and the deeper ones. It's because they're not getting that in mainstream media. People are bullshitting them day in, day out for a living on mainstream media.
Yeah, like, there was like this one news report that I remember Jon Stewart making fun of on The Daily Show. It was like he was calling out a news report on, like, how he was basically pointing out that CNN was running out of ideas, and so there was like a news report about psychics on a plane.
Oh my lord!
Most blank face expression, like, really? This is news now? Like, psychics on a plane?
Right.
I don't know.
Mm-hmm. No, I totally agree. He was right to call that shit out, because it's fucking absurd, the type of, like, I don't know how to put it. It's cultural nitpicking, really. It's nitpicking on a mass media scale, right? Like, if you're a friend, like, if you're somebody's friend, and they've got, like, some flaws and stuff, and you're constantly trying to point them out and pick on them for certain things, right? That's it's the same kind of behavior as that, basically, but on a mass media scale with an entire culture, where, like, instead of just letting the news happen as it happens, covering things which were actually noteworthy, now we have to have coverage of, like, we have to have nitpicking coverage of a bunch of psychics on a plane. Why? What place does that have in our society? Like, why are you elevating that to the place of newsworthiness? Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah. It's you know, it goes back to the fact that we live in a capitalist society, and as long as the news media runs on capitalism, it'll always do the things that it thinks will make them the most money. So instead of going for accuracy, they go for sensationalism, and that's probably one of the main, like, even on YouTube, that, like, even if you're on the left and you're, you know, doing the rage bait, but for the good side, like, you're still kind of giving into the system a little bit. You're kind of playing the game.
Oh yeah.
Which you kind of have to, but
yeah,
you have to acknowledge that to some degree you're kind of playing into it a little bit, at least.
Right, but that's why I try to do my particular strategy, is because I feel like there's no way I can avoid playing into it unless I wanted to try and make my niche something completely different. And even then, I would probably still be missing out if I didn't play somewhat into the fact that I'm a trans woman who passes well about 50% of the time, right? I think that what I try and do to make up for that is, like, number one, I try and advocate for things that will, like, ultimately make the world better. And number two, I try to do so in a way that provides people with a different image of trans people than they're used to, a different image of leftist advocates that they're used to, and with arguments that they might not have heard before, and, like, with a little bit of emotion tied into it too. Because one thing I've always agreed with Paul Zigo on is, arguments lose something when they get distilled into their most clinical form, and you start talking about statistics and numbers on a sheet. Human beings are more than that, and I think it's right to bring in a little bit of emotionality. Not only that, but it's clear, at least from my interactions with them, that MAGA is a heavily emotional kind of movement, and so I find it pretty useful to intersperse a heavy bit of emotionality into my argumentation. And through these various efforts, I've managed to make a number of different people, like, kind of come over more to my way of thinking. And I've certainly opened up a lot of people's minds to a type of person that they never would have had a friendship or a connection with before. And I think that hopefully makes up for feeding into this great, vast, manipulative machine that relies on the culture war and the back and forth to make its profit.
Yeah.
One can only hope,
I just
right?
really wish we can have a future where the news is dominated, not necessarily by cold facts and logic all the time, but, you know, it's just something that is, okay, now I know what's going on in the world. I don't have to, like, worry that I'm being manipulated all the time, you know? But
I think that news and opinion need to be completely separated. Like, as in, like, when you're presenting the news, right? I think that the presentation of news, like, should be raw and without commentary, unless you are doing it as part of a specific opinion section. So I'm okay with the idea of, like, you know, there being people who have TV shows and internet shows where they talk their opinions on politics. But there's two things. Number one, I don't think that it should be directly tied in to the news coverage as it's ongoing. I think that you shouldn't be able to put a bunch of slant into the news coverage. And number two, I think that you should be able to get prosecuted for lying on television.
Yeah.
100%.
Freedom of speech doesn't give you the right to lie to people.
Well, I think it.
That. Like,
I think it maybe does in certain instances, and I think it doesn't matter that much if you're talking about individuals. So I would never want to extrapolate that to everybody, but I don't think freedom of the press includes the right to egregiously and dangerously lie to the public. Like, if it's wrong for me to shout fire in a crowded theater, then why is it not wrong for CNN or Fox News to repeat Trump's lies about Haitians eating cats and dogs? That's genocidal rhetoric.
Or repeating a lie that genocide is just a war.
Right.
Yeah, like,
Exactly.
I think, honestly, how do you feel about a country ruled by scientists?
Honestly, like, okay, so when we say scientists, we're talking about, like, basically things are set up so that in order to be qualified, would you say like a scientific democracy where you would still be able to vote, but in order to be qualified for office, you have to have completed a certain level of scientific education? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would support it.
It doesn't have to be a physicist. It could be anybody that is willing to use their scientific discoveries and inventions for the better of humanity, and that should be constantly. We should be striving for. We should be, as a society, we should be focusing on the next big thing that we can invent to make humanity's lives better, instead of just, okay, well, this science I don't like because it disagrees with my Christian values. No more of that bullshit. Like you can still be a Christian if you want, but if you want to, like, say that the Earth was created in 6 days or that the Earth is flat, you probably shouldn't. Like, you should keep that in church.
And you're not going to be able to preach that from the state pulpit anymore. I agree with you. I would be in support of that. What I would do is, if I could make that a requirement, I would make it a requirement that for any state or national elected office, you need to hold a Master of Sciences in a humanist field of some kind. So medicine, law, fucking literature, technology, engineering. I can think of dozens of different specialties, but you need to have a Master of Sciences or a Master of Arts that is relevant to a scientific field. That's what I would say. Like, that honestly seems like one of the less authoritarian solutions to the problems of democracy that I've heard. We've established a very competent system of education, and we've established some really, really good standards when it comes to scientific rule. So, given that, maybe it would honestly create better results if you had to be, like, highly fucking educated in the way the world actually works.
Yeah, you can't just be some idiot with a podcast or with a soap opera show or whatever the fuck The Apprentice was.
Right, like, it shouldn't be me. It shouldn't be me. Like, it shouldn't be me. It shouldn't be Trump. It shouldn't be fucking Paul Zigo or TJ. It needs to be someone who's like Professor Dave, who was actually a professor at a fucking college. Let's elect him, Like, Erica fucking from Guts at Gibbon. She's an actual fucking, like, doctor of fucking, I don't know exactly what, but she's a paleontologist. Yeah. So, like, let's,
Yeah, like, and some people, it's honestly surprising. I've heard some people on the left, like, disagree with this notion that we should have scientists running for office. What's his name? I can't think of his name.
Abdullah Sayed.
The guy who wrote Manufacturing Consent.
Oh, Noam Chomsky.
Yeah, Noam Chomsky. I've heard him say that, this would lead to an imbalance of power or something like that if we had experts running office. And he points to the very beginnings and origins of our country, like we were ruled at one time or started by experts, because that's where the founding fathers were. A lot of them were educated scholars and
right.
We're not necessarily scientists, but
right.
Benjamin Franklin was.
But look what they built. Look what they built, though.
Huh?
Noam Chomsky's
Yeah,
argument falls
exactly.
apart. This is one of those areas where I disagree with Noam. On top of all the apologetics for Epstein, this is one of those areas where I've always disagreed with Noam. Not to be an American apologist or to say that what we created was amazing. I say we like I was one of the founding fathers, but not to say that what the founding fathers actually created was like intrinsically morally good or like whatever. It was. It created something that was able to build upon itself continuously, was able to self-regulate, to defend itself in a ton of different wars, to do a lot of things I don't agree with, but also to bring about some really amazing things that I am glad exist, and was able to do some things that I am happy that we were able to do. And I think that that's kind of proof, maybe, of the thesis that when America was governed, because it wasn't just the founding fathers, it was for a good 40 years after that, and arguably longer, but I would say definitely for the first 40 years, when America was for the most part governed by super highly educated people who were highly invested in the nation that they were building. It took a little while before we lost the kind of educated thing. Abraham Lincoln was famously educated but raised in poverty on the frontier. The frontier at that time was Illinois, so I don't think he was too far out west. I always like to bring that up. The frontier at the time was Illinois. But he was raised on quote unquote the frontier, and but eventually was educated and stuff. And so, but even Abraham Lincoln was interested in nation building. He was interested in the prospect of making America better than he found it. And that, I think, carried on all the way up until Richard Nixon, honestly. I think Nixon was the first president who didn't...
I think what Noam Chomsky was probably saying was that he was just scared of a country being ruled by an elitist group that that is separate, that have their interests separate from the people. But I think that can just be easily solved by having the scientists not necessarily rich landowners, like how it was started with.
Not only that,
they can be very educated, but they can't be rich bourgeoisie people.
Well, not only that, but you can also subvert it simply by making which scientists would probably do, because they generally agree with this kind of thing, making higher education free and accessible at the point of service would nullify that point. So everybody's able, literally, if you're able to do the work, then you're able to get to the point where you would be educated enough to run for office. It takes out the elitist element if it's something that everyone can do if they apply themselves well enough. And the people who couldn't be able to do it also probably shouldn't be running things. If you're just utterly unable. But I believe most people are able.
Yeah. Although, I think, do you think that we should change the way we should teach math to kids? Because, honestly, I think one of the biggest hurdles that I had growing up in school was math, because nobody wanted to teach math to me right, or the way that I could understand. And my mom couldn't find anybody, apparently. So, for most of my life, except for maybe a little bit in college, I just did not have very good competency in mathematics, because so many teachers get so obsessed with, no, this has to be taught this way or else it's wrong. They don't, sure, math is different from English and art, that it's not subjective, but the way you teach it can be subjective. And I just feel like so many teachers just get in this rigid mindset that math can be only taught in one way. It discourages people from science and mathematics, like it did me for many years. So I only came back to science, or got my interest back in science, once I started watching creationist debunked videos. So
exactly. So there you go. Same here, but that's mostly because I got distracted with other things. But yeah, so what I would say is that I was kind of the same way. I had some math teachers, especially during elementary school, that were like just unwilling to work with me and like let me understand math in the way that I understood it. I had some that were, most that weren't. And then once I got like, but I will say through that time, my mom basically figured out how to teach me math in a way that made sense to me and was fun for me, and she helped me a lot during those years. But eventually I got to like middle school and high school where I started to encounter more teachers who were willing to use different teaching styles or allow me to use different ways of coming about the same thing. But I've experienced that exact problem, not as much as it sounds like you experienced it, but I dealt with that same thing, being autistic and having a fundamentally different way of looking at numbers and math than a lot of people do. And what I advocate for in math classes, because math is one of those things that so many people process differently. Math is objective, but it is objective and very complicated and looked at by human beings in very different ways. For example, did you know that the Sumerian counting system, I believe it was base 12?
Really?
Yes. You know why?
Why?
Because you have 3 knuckles on each finger. So 1, 2, 3, right? So 1, 2, 3. So 3, 6, 9, 12. So without using the thumbs, you get to 24. And you can like do certain other parts of math with that same methodology and shit. So yeah, so like the way they counted was different. You think about the way that ancient Romans did math. I don't know if you know Roman numerals, but 1, 2, 3 make intuitive sense. But then 4 is 3 plus a V. Well, what does that mean? It's not, the V is not like some weird indicator that means 4. It is 5. And so you kind of had to do a math equation every time you read out a number. 4 was 3 minus 5. Or no, it was, it's hard to explain. But it's, 4 is like 3, then you've got the 5 symbol, right? And then, 6 is 5 plus the 1 symbol. So, I don't know. That's 4. That's the symbol for 4, I think. I was wrong. The symbol for 5 is just the V. But the symbol for 4 is 3 plus the 5 sign, which, 3 fucking, I don't know. It's weird. But if you look through history, you can find all kinds of different examples of different cultures doing math in ways that don't always make intuitive sense.
Yeah, that's very interesting. And the Romans didn't even have a concept of 0. That was originally invented by the Arabics and the Aztecs, because they were the first people to actually invent the concept of 0. And before that, we were just math was kind of incomplete without it, if that makes sense. Like, it just didn't, so many, it made it so much easier to calculate things and to, I'm not very good at math, but you know what I'm talking about. 0 just makes the world a whole lot easier to quantify when you have something that represents nothing, or a lack of something, if that
or
makes
a 0
sense.
quantity, right. Right, because if all you can work with is 1, then you are going to fundamentally struggle with your math. Okay, if you get 20 of something, but your math doesn't account for 0, then the aptitude to make an error there increases, by 1. There you go. Now you've got a 1 in the equation that's already there. So someone that's not thinking might think it's 21 that you've got now, if you're adding it up if you don't have that starting from zero kind of concept. And so, yeah, I think that kind of thing is very interesting. And the way I would handle that in math classes is I would have there be like a policy for there to be funding set aside to make sure that teachers can have, like, one or two, at least two, I would say, 2 or 3 maybe, depending on the size of the class, teachers' aides that are fully qualified in that field, that are fully paid, that are like specifically there to identify kids that are struggling and to get them in an environment like a side of the class or a specific set of desks or whatever, to where like they can offer specialized instruction, because there are all kinds of different ways that people look at math. I don't know how much I believe in evolutionary psychology, but it does seem to make at least somewhat sense. If instincts are a thing, evolutionary psychology kind of has to exist on some level.
Yeah.
And that's what makes me wonder if there are certain ways of counting and certain methods of doing math that are just kind of like, maybe like, I don't know, somehow baked into our genetic memory. And maybe there's just some tendencies that apply more than others. I don't know. I don't even think you have to get that deep with it. All you have to know is that people do math differently, and therefore we need to be able to teach it in different ways.
Yeah. There was this, what's the word? I had it and then I forgot it. There was this concept called right brain math, and they would teach you math by drawing symbols like pentagrams or other kind of shapes to indicate times tables or multiplication, just by adding up the angles and the sides. And it was very creative, but the only problem was it was based on a false concept, and that is that some people are right-brained and some people are left-brained, and that's just not true.
Yeah,
but
every human being uses both sides of their brain.
Yeah.
Unless you've been lobotomized or had half your head blown off or something. And you might think, oh, someone couldn't survive having half their head blown off. Look it up on YouTube. There's someone that is a motivational speaker that it did indeed.
Huh.
No, I'm not even kidding. He looks real weird, but he's a pretty motivating guy. He's real upbeat. I don't know. I've never seen anybody like it.
Yeah. Man, I had something and I forgot.
I'm so sorry. I do that to people.
I was. Huh?
I said I do that to people.
Yeah. So, were you diagnosed with autism?
Yes.
Okay. How long ago? If you don't
When I
mind
was
me asking.
8. Pretty sure. Pretty sure it was when I was 8.
Oh, okay.
Maybe a little earlier. Could have been when I was 7.
Diagnosed when I was 12. But like I said, I never got a full proper help with it. But I'm still just starting to figure out how my mind works again and trying to deal with everyday living, because for the longest time, especially ever since I got out of Avon's home, I just wore this mask that I either didn't come off or I would just hide. If I couldn't wear the mask, I would just hide from others, or retreat into my own head. And now that I'm starting to stim again, I'll learn how to stim again and learn how to get out excess, energy, or, just all that stuff, that pent up emotion, like trying to figure out how to deal with my sensory overload and what I can handle and what I can't handle. And it's hard for me to figure that out, because sometimes my brain just wants to be a baby, and it just like I know I can handle something, but it just doesn't want to deal with it anyways. It's like, no, brain, we can handle this. But at other times, I don't notice that something's irritating my brain, and it goes forever until at the last second, and my brain it turns into an OCD compulsion. And I'm just like, why is my OCD so bad? Oh, it's probably because I was burnt out all day, from sensory overload. or something. So, yeah, in fact, I watched this YouTube channel about how, I forgot what the guy's name was. He's this autistic guy who talks about autism and stuff like that. But he did a video on burnout and how autistic people have a tendency to retreat into themselves or into, they can't talk or they can't think clearly when they're burnt out. And I get that a lot, where I'm in the middle of a conversation, especially an intense one, and my brain just clogs itself up. And I'm trying to do meditation, but whenever I try to do meditation, I instantly start to fixate on the sensations in my throat, in my nose, and I instantly just want to cough up something or blow my nose or something. I don't know. But I'm still trying to figure out how to get past that one, because I really need to start doing meditation because it can help.
Yeah. For sure.
But yeah. How do you, like, what are certain things that irritate you? Do you not like high-pitched sounds? Do you not like certain textures? Do you not like,
I get triggered as fuck from, like, loud noises and shit. Sometimes people will see me react to that, like, with the train. That's why I always plug my ears when it comes by, usually. Sometimes there's one that's just not loud for some reason, but usually I plug my ears when a train comes by. I've gotten pretty good. Who joined?
I did.
Is that Matt?
It is I.
Oh, what's up? But sometimes what was I gonna say? Oh yeah. So I would say like loud noises would be the main thing. Everybody always describes me as gun shy, but it's just like I'm very jarred by loud noises of pretty much all different various types. Food wise, I feel like I'm probably not as sensitive to textures and tastes as a lot of autistic people are, but every so often I'll definitely bite into something. Like for example, I've never been able to get into tofu. I don't know why. It's just got a fucking texture I cannot deal with. And I've eaten a few other things throughout my life, but then there's other things that bother a lot of autistic people I've met that don't bother me at all. I once ate a piece of goat meat that I could see a tube hanging out of, and all I said was, "Oh man, I hate tubes," but I ate it anyway, you know. So
Paul would have thrown up.
yeah, Paul would have fucking puked if he found that piece of meat in his goat curry. But I don't think Paul would have ever ordered goat curry.
Probably not.
I always get the most exotic meat I can at a restaurant that has weird meats. But let me see. Let me try and think of some other things that are like...
Yeah,
I don't know.
Get that too. Like, even though I love meat, like, I can't stand, like, sometimes I'll bite into a KFC or a chicken wing of some kind, and then all of a sudden I bite into a tendon or something gooey, and I almost want to gag.
You're like,
so,
oh, gross.
I understand that.
I feel that. Well, I don't feel that completely because I can handle it, but what will gross me out? This is one thing. I guess it grosses everybody out, but I've met people that can handle it. For me, if I bite into something, and even if I tempt it, and I know it should be fine, if I bite into something and I notice indicators that it's raw and it's something that can't be safely eaten raw, like chicken or the wrong type of beef or whatever, I cannot make myself eat the rest of it. So, like, sometimes I'll eat burgers that somebody else has made, and I'll get like a couple bites into it, and I'll start seeing a big old pink spot, and I'll get a little deeper into it, and it's like a big old red spot in the middle. I'm like, man, what the fuck? What are you doing serving me a fucking rare burger, you piece of shit? Are you trying to give me salmonella?
I like burgers a little on the rare side, but not like bleeding.
Yeah, well.
Yeah.
You can have it. You can fucking have it then, Matt.
Well, I mean, will you eat like something that's like pink? Or
Well,
no,
steak, yes. Steak, I'll eat fucking rare. Or meat rare. I like steak, I'll eat rare. But that's because the food science behind that backs it up, right? So, like, beef in particular is, like, you know, especially here in America, very unlikely to contain any kind of parasites or any kind of parasites that would be transmissible to humans in particular. And also, there are very few bovine pathogens that are transmissible to people. And so, if you, and not only that, but typically, the only way that a pathogen from the outside or from handling is able to contaminate meat is like on the surface and everything. So it's not like it gets like distributed all throughout the meat and shit. So like, as long as you're talking about a fresh steak that has been handled correctly, then yes, because the grilling process or the flat top or whatever it is kills off the bacteria on either side and the edges of the piece of meat, and the functionally raw parts that you're eating at the very middle are perfectly safe to eat because they were not able to contact surface pathogens and are not able to come in contact with surface pathogens long enough in between your fork and knife and your mouth to like foster any kind of infection or anything. So yeah, I will eat a rare steak, but I will not eat a rare fucking burger. That is fucking absurd. No.
Would you eat sushi?
Oh, I love sushi.
Oh, I like sushi too.
Yes.
Especially calamari. I love calamari.
Are you a DFF fan, Hellspawn?
I seldom watch them on and off. Like I said, I've been kind of avoiding certain YouTube channels that go into the pessimistic side of life a little bit too much because sometimes that just,
that's
I'm
valid.
not in the right mental spot for it, if that makes sense.
Only reason I ask is because I was going to ask if you were planning on going to the meetup in Seattle this year.
Oh, I wish I had the money to do so, but I'm just starting to get paid again for being on Social Security, so I'm just starting to making income. So I have to focus on other things first, unfortunately.
Oh, that's valid. I was just asking. I know me and Kenny are planning on going out for sushi when we go up to Seattle, so I was just, I figured if you were coming along, like if you were going to the meetup, I was gonna like offer you a seat.
Yeah, you've met TJ, right?
Yeah, I'm friends with TJ. Yeah.
Is he is he as is he like his personality that he portrays online, or is he a very different person in person?
In some ways, he's very, very, very much like his person. And in some ways, he's actually crazier. But in a way that always felt to me very fun and affectionate and kind of like chaotic good. That's how I would describe TJ's personality. As much as he would like to probably describe himself as chaotic evil, I would say that he's probably chaotic good. He's definitely still like very edgy and like goth and shit in terms of like get up and aesthetic, and he's definitely as wacky. For example, my goat versus fish shirt has the word "so?" written on it because my friend and fellow fan Pranav was asking TJ what he could do to get his loyalty back or something like that, and TJ was like, buy me a drink. And Pranav was like, really? Okay, I'll do it. Pranav runs off. And I'm like, TJ, a man whose loyalty can be purchased with $13 at a dive bar, his loyalty comes cheap. And TJ said, so? And I was like, well, I just don't know if that leads to good results consistently. And he was like, so? And I was like, I guess you're right. So he took out a gray marker, leaned down, and wrote "so?" on my shirt, and then walked away without saying another word.
Not the story you can tell your grandkids.
Yep. And I smoked a few good joints with TJ. Enjoyed a cigarette with TJ. I will tell you this much: TJ is like shockingly tall. Like, I know he always gets memed on for being tall, but it's like, I am considered tall by most of the people that I run into, and TJ towers over me, so it's absurd. I'm like 6 foot, 6'1",
like
something like that.
6'3", isn't he?
He's 6'6", I think.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
See, I'm just barely under 6 foot. I'm just like barely there, so I'm
yeah.
as tall as Scotty, or maybe a little shorter.
Right, yeah. So your face would nuzzle nice and gently into TJ's breast.
Ew. That's nasty.
Nah, dude. TJ gives good hugs. Paul gives even better hugs,
I'm
though.
sure he does.
Paul gives the best hugs, though.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. There was another question I had about TJ. Do you think that, TJ, went through this phase, recently? And, the Chaos Wizard? I'm still trying to figure out what that was all about.
Oh, he's still a Chaos
was he
Wizard.
so tired of the atheist label that he was so desperate for a change that he just, Chaos Wizard, yes, that's me now.
No.
I don't know.
Actually, I've talked to TJ about this extensively, and I was talking to him a lot more regularly back when this was happening. I genuinely think that it's an actual evolution of his atheist mindset and his kind of more or less materialist worldview. Scientists who believe in God will often say the first sip out of the cup of science will convince you that there is no God, but there at the bottom of the cup, God is waiting for you. But I think that that is actually true of the metaphysical world, the idea of willpower having anything to do with reality. These metaphysical ideas are something that once you realize there is no God, and then a materialist worldview makes more sense, you will obviously find them absurd. But the more you learn about that, the more you realize how much our interpretation of these events, how much our interpretation of history, how much our interpretation of facts, how much our observations are all colored by our psychology and sociology, and a natural evolution from that is to believe that you might genuinely, and I tend to agree with the chaos magicians when they make this point. I kind of consider myself maybe a little bit of a chaos switch myself. I kind of think that there is something to be said for the concerted application of human will towards the solving of a problem or the achievement of a goal. I don't know that it actually manipulates anything in reality, but I have seen in my own life how rituals, however secular you may be as a person, can help a person narrow their focus in a way that makes it easier to achieve their goals, and there are some people who are benefited from these systems in a way that makes it kind of undeniable that the systems have some utility, even if the underlying facts are nothing that should be legislated upon, right?
So what you're saying is that basically you're looking at God in the same way a physicist would, that God is sort of the embodiment of the universe itself, or a metaphor for the universe.
I'm not even invoking...
Wonders.
I'm not even invoking God or anything. I'm simply talking about the idea that, like, because all chaos magic is about is the idea that human will, whether directed and put forward by a single human being or by a group of people trying to achieve the same effort, can that human will and rituals and um, belief structures can help to affect how a person or group go about doing something. And this is just a materialist reality. Think about how much religion affects how people go about their daily lives. Think about how many people right now are being sold this bullshit Iran war on the basis of a faith-based system that makes their lives easier to process. But that's why I think it's so critical to, how do I put it? I think that it's, I really don't know how to put it. I think, like, chaos magic is one of those things that you can only reasonably come to after understanding that we live in, like, a world that is defined and learned about through the process of science, and after you realize that there is no that there is no God, that there is no, like, universal magic, because the whole idea is not wrapped up in an actual perception that you're meaningfully changing things in a reproducible way, but merely that by engaging in certain rituals and, like, doing certain things, you might be able to further enable your own pursuit of some goal or some outcome, or a group might be able to do such.
I don't know how much you know about. This is going to seem a little bit random, but it has, at least I think it has something to do with what you're talking about. I really love the Knights of the Old Republic games, the Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic games, and I remember Kreia, who was a prominent character in the second game. She says and mentions things about echoes and how, like, even in absence of the Force, you can create echoes that reverberate through other people's lives, and if you can control those echoes, they can come back to you tenfold in a good way or a negative way. And that even though that it, like, sure, the key to everything, there is no, like, real grand revelation, there is no spiritual awakening, there's only you at the end of the day, and what you decide what life means to you and what things mean to other people as well. If you can learn how to understand the echoes that you create on everyday life, like, some are big, some are just a very faint ripple that don't really make it anywhere, but our decisions like reverberate throughout the species because we're a social species, and anyone, even though we are individually weak and very insignificant, sometimes all it takes is just one person to make a drastic decision that can change the fate of the world.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know if it goes into what you're talking about, but I think that's going into what you're talking about.
For sure. Yeah, that kind of principle is, like, an underlying basic principle of chaos magic in general. The idea that, by the way, I'm going to have to get off here in just a few minutes, just letting you guys know, but that underlying idea that people can and do affect things throughout the whole species, throughout their community, throughout the country, with their everyday actions, it is true. Now, the problem is, right, and anyone who thinks about this will, tell you the same thing. Like, it's intrinsic in, like, I can't remember what example I was about to use, but anyway, you can't necessarily know which actions are going to have a greater reverberation. Sometimes you think something you're doing is having a really big effect and is going to be remembered for a long time and is going to have a lot of different tangential effects, and sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it does, and you never quite get to know. So I think it can be sometimes hard to convince people of this, or hard to demonstrate in like a reliable way, other than just looking at the studies that have been done into sociology, group behavior, the influence of charisma and charismatic individuals on group dynamics. These things have been studied, and the fact of it is that a human being with enough willpower and a convincing enough tongue can make people do all kinds of crazy shit. Just look at Adolf Hitler. And similarly, someone with that same kind of gift can bring someone to a lot of good. Just look at Martin Luther King Jr.
Yeah. Do you think poetry and language is akin to magic, or can be?
Yes, it is. It's a form of magic. Yes, yes. Even chaos magicians would agree with me, and I would consider my primary sorcery as a little amateur chaos witch myself to be the written word and the spoken word.
Yeah. Like, Bruce Lee once said, I can do all these things. I can show you some flashy, phony movement, or I can show you something that represents me. That to honestly express yourself is another thing than just going through the motions, whether it be martial arts or writing or something. Instead of going through the motions, you always have to inject something of yourself into what you're doing. Otherwise, you're just a mechanical man, and you're a machine, right? So, I think, that's probably the magic of life, is that once you understand the equivalent exchange, I don't know how else to put it, the equivalent exchange of ideas and resources and stuff like, now I'm sorry, my brain shut off. In mid-sentence, I had something really good, and then my brain shut off. I think it's probably time for me to go to bed.
It's okay. Hey, it happens to the best of us.
Yeah. But it's interesting that the comic book writer Alan Moore tried to end the world with a comic book because he was convinced that his words had that much power behind them, but apparently it didn't work. So, I don't know, it's very interesting that a lot of magic didn't start off as, fireball, lightning bolt. It started off as just writing a poem, an angry poem that I hate. I hate this shopkeeper. I hope his shop burns down and he dies with nothing. And you put that poem underneath somewhere where you won't find it. And that was considered magic during ancient Greek times.
Yep. And it's crazy, magic has always followed in the footsteps of philosophers and poets and writers and things like that. It's pretty much always been our domain, and something that the creatives of the world have used either to explain or to personify or to help tangify, I don't know how to put it, the various things that are created or that they have to deal with or whatever. And people, I think it's very kind of fascinating that human beings have always known that our language can affect outcomes on some level, that the written word is a powerful thing. You always hear the pen is mightier than the sword. And it's nice to me, not nice to me personally, but it's nice, in my opinion, that there is now kind of a movement of people called, chaos magicians and chaos wizards and shit, that are kind of trying to see what the limits of this are. And many of them are trying to put that put that work to good use, to positive ends.
Yeah. You know, before we get off, there's something I kind of want to get off my chest, but I don't know how much you will care because it has to deal with a topic you probably don't know much about, and that's martial arts. And I feel like thanks to the UFC and Dana White, the UFC or MMA and a lot of martial arts in general, and thanks to some other people too, it's now associated with chuds, like even more so than other sports. And that irritates me because originally martial arts, even if it was like probably had some conservative origins, at one time martial arts used to be progressive. Like Bruce Lee and Muhammad Ali, both were like very progressive for their time. And Bruce Lee was one of the first martial arts teachers to teach multiple like students of any race and of any gender. Well, maybe not any gender in our standards, but you know what I mean, like men and women and black and white and whatever. And he actually got in trouble for that, which that was a whole nother story. But still, that I wish, like, if I can get back into martial arts, maybe I can do something with it where I can show, like, hey, you don't have to be a chud, or you don't have to associate yourself with transphobes and homophobes or assholes who say that Michelle Obama was a man or some dumb shit like that live on stage. Like,
yeah, no doubt.
Like, yeah.
Like, there's all these.
I
was just gonna say, there's all these conservative organizations that exist to counter like progressive institutions and shit. Why can't there be a progressive organization that comes out to sanction MMA fights that aren't going to be led by fucking Dana White and shit, you know? And I guarantee you somebody will come out to fill that market. There are some progressive, different martial arts kind of people that do content on YouTube that are progressives and shit. And I imagine that, some of them will probably start breaking into other forms of media as that becomes more of a thing. But, yeah, one thing I think about that is a direct correlation is the same thing happened with country music. You familiar with outlaw country?
Yeah, I understand that it kind of started off semi-progressive, but turned into a just want to kiss my fish.
Yeah, I just want to kiss my fish. I just want to fuck my fish. I just want to ride my fish. I just want to catch my fish. I just want to fuck my dog. Sorry, what? Yeah, so, listen, there's some genuinely progressive songs. Let me sing a couple bars from an old outlaw country song. Let me think of the two best ones. I am an American farmer. I make a living off the land. I ride a John Deere tractor. I'm a liberated man. But the rain, it hasn't fallen since the middle of July. And if it don't come soon, my crops will die. And the bank man says he likes me, but there's nothing he can do. He tells me that he's coming, well, these clouds are coming too. He ain't my friend, and all right again. And then the finishing verse of that song is, I am an American Indian, my tribe is Cherokee. My forefathers loved this land, they left it here for me. But the white man came with boats and planes and dirty factories, poisoned my existence with his deeds. Nature is our mother, we are sucklings at her breast. He who tries to tame her down will lose her to the rest. They'll never win, and all right again. So it was like heavily progressive.
Yeah, sounds like it. That was a good job, by the way.
Thank you.
Also, country music. I I know there's kind of been a resurgence of some progressive.
Yep.
I've heard there's some resurgence of some progressive country singers lately, but I haven't heard them.
Oh, dude.
Like, the only country music I listen to is Johnny Cash and some other stuff.
You ever heard of Willie Carlisle?
No, I have not.
Oh my god. You want to listen to one of his songs? I'll share my screen.
Here, just a sec. Let me wake my phone up. Okay.
Alright, let me see here. Let's see here. Let's see here. Let's see, where is it at? Oh, here it is. Okay. Ow! Oh, God. Oh, I just hurt my hip. Oh, man. Oh. Oh. All I did. All I did was fucking move my leg. Oh my god, it hurts. Oh man. Oh, anyway. Here we go. Oh shit, I have my fucking volume turned down. Yeah.
She was gonna share something, and
I did share my screen.
I don't see anything. Let me see. Maybe I need to. Maybe I don't know.
Yeah, cause Matt, can you see it?
Let's see. Watch stream. BB.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah.
I see it. I see it now.
Oh, could you hear the song?
No.
No, I couldn't at first. Now I can see what you're doing and everything.
Oh, okay. Okay, well, I'm gonna restart it then.
Yeah. Okay.
And I'll let the lyrics play when I do.
We're throwing bricks through windows, man. Let it all unfurl.
every drunkard, every whore, for the girl who keeps a loaded gun in her underwear drawer. It ain't there because she's angry, it's there because she's bored. Takes a certain kind of girl to be a lover in this world. At 2 a.m. on Sunday, she's got blood on her hands, trying to make it better with a better looking man. She'll hate herself for Jesus, but she won't love what I am. Takes a certain kind of man, a certain kind of man. So here's to every thought and prayer wasted on the poor, for the women and the children killed in long drawn wars. When God comes in the whirlwind, it's not to settle any score. It takes a certain kind of God to make a ruin of the world. It takes a certain kind of God to make a ruin of the world. It takes a certain kind of God to make a ruin of the world. So you say you'll die for Dixie, brother, I'll take you at your word. The only risk in stars and bars is getting flipped the bird. Or throwing bricks through windows, man, fuck what you heard. Takes a certain kind of fool to make a difference in the world. It takes a certain kind of fool to make a difference in the world. It takes a certain kind of fool to make a difference in the world.
It's what all country music used to sound like.
Yeah. Yeah, it reminds me of protest songs or something.
Yeah, it's got that energy. Well, oh, I'm gonna cry, dude. A lot of the original authors of protest songs had, outlaw
song.
country careers and careers that were looked up to by the people who would go on to do outlaw country. You look at a lot of the people who made up that movement. You look at their cited inspirations. They talk about, they talk about people like Pete Seeger and Woody Guthrie and these people who kind of invented that genre. And that kind of energy is not lost in everybody making country music these days. But you gotta look hard for it, man. You really do. And there's it sucks too, because there's some people that were part of that outlaw country movement that continued making music, but they started calling out the problems a little too loudly, and they got distasteful to the record labels. Like, you ever heard of Steve Earle?
Yeah.
Yeah, you ever heard a song, The Mountain?
Sounds familiar.
And it's a song, you might have heard the Benjamin Todd cover of it, you might have heard his version. It's a song basically about coal mining and exploitation of natural resources. It's kind of written from the standpoint of like an old hermit living in the mountains that's watched the mountains be capped and tunnels dug through every hillside. But it's like getting increasingly more angry at the encroachment of this industry. And that song, it's gotten renewed popularity these days, but it met with not that much acclaim when it was released. That whole album didn't. Steve Earle doing a bluegrass album, who the fuck cared? Bluegrass fans, that's who. About nobody else. And unfortunately for protest music, media hates it. And I'm not even kidding. Probably the most prominent writer of protest songs these days is a man named David Rovix, who was basically, YouTube basically tried to delete his existence off the internet. And massive
what was the guy's name?
David Rovix.
David Rovix. Okay.
Yeah. David, like you'd think, Rovics for the last name. He's since had his YouTube channel restored, but not all of his music. There are massive albums of his that are just completely gone from YouTube Music still to this day. And he wrote a lot of songs that would make good protest songs. A lot of songs that embrace that kind of energy, that talk about the like ongoing issues and shit. And like, he's just one example I can think of. There's so many fucking people that make that kind of music.
Why was he removed? I missed that part. Why did he get removed?
Well, YouTube didn't actually give him a reason other than supporting terrorism. That was the reason they gave him. So you can guess where that came from in SPM 7.
You know, there was a... It's funny you mentioned that, because there was a while where I was searching folk songs on YouTube, and I ran into this redneck guy that just would sing these country folk songs about how good it is to be rich, how the poor need to work a little harder. And,
talking about Oliver Anthony?
Nice. And he doesn't get taken off of YouTube.
Yeah, I know, right? That's the fucking thing. You can do so much bullshit on this platform but not get taken down. But if you're too far to the left, it's not long before they come for you. And it's not even a persecution complex. At this point, it's just like a pattern that they keep repeating. So it's like, what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
But yeah. I'm gonna go ahead and go, because I'm really hungry.
I need to sleep.
Yeah. Me too.
Oh. Alright, bye-bye.
It was nice talking to you, Phoebes.
You too. And I'm sorry, Matt. I know you didn't get to add much to this conversation, but there's always next time. As for you guys, thank you guys for hanging out with me. I will see you guys later. Peace.
Bye.